Tsunade Senja sat at her desk, burdened by the endless flow of paperwork that plagued all Cage. Her complexion was fair, her honey-colored eyes carrying the weight of her responsibilities. Straight, blonde hair framed her face with shoulder-length bangs, while the rest cascaded down to her lower back. She wore a gray, sleeveless kimono-style blouse, secured by a blue sash, paired with capri pants and strappy-heeled sandals. With a deep sigh, Tsunade set her pen down and rubbed her temples. Her gaze fell upon a photo of a young boy with spiky blonde hair and vivid blue eyes, his cheeks marked by 3 distinctive whisker-like scars. Oh, Naruto. If only you were still here, Tsunade thought wistfully. 3 years had passed since Naruto embarked on a training journey with her former teammate, Jiraiya. Yet, 2.5 years ago, Jiraiya had returned, bringing devastating news: Naruto had been captured by the Akatsuki. Tsunade had collapsed at the revelation but gathered her strength to convene an immediate council meeting. The civilian council members had openly celebrated Naruto's imminent demise, while most of the shinobi council remained indifferent. Danzo, ever stoic, showed no concern and instead pushed for the repeal of the Third Hokage's decree. Tsunade's protests were outvoted by both sides of the council, and the law was rescinded. Those conniving fools. They've turned me into a puppet, using my grief over Naruto to tighten their grip on power and poison everyone against him. Well, not everyone, Tsunade reflected bitterly. Rising from her chair, she grabbed her green Haori and made her way to the rooftop of the Hokage Tower, seeking solace in the cool evening air. She stared at the sunset, her thoughts a whirlwind of anger and sorrow, until she sensed a presence. Turning swiftly, her sharp eyes landed on a tall figure cloaked in a gray hooded coat. "Who are you?" Tsunade demanded, her chakra flaring in preparation. "Relax, Hokage-sama," the stranger replied, his voice calm but tinged with an edge. He wore dark blue, hybrid hakama-style pants tucked into calf-length boots, a fitted black shirt, and gloves on his hands. His hooded coat hung loosely, adding an air of mystery. "I've already ensured we won't be interrupted. A barrier surrounds this rooftop to keep our conversation private," he continued. Tsunade's fists clenched as she evaluated him. "What do you want?" she asked, her tone guarded. The stranger pulled back his hood, revealing short black hair and a half-mask covering the lower part of his face. Yet, it was his sharp, slitted blue eyes that struck Tsunade. "You can call me Menma for now," he said. "I'm here to learn about the former Kyuubi Jinchuriki." Tsunade froze, her chest tightening. "What are you talking about?" she demanded, her voice wavering slightly. "I've been in Konoha for days, asking around. Most people described him as a demon, someone better off dead," Menma said. Tsunade's body trembled with barely suppressed anger. "Enough," she snapped. Naruto was a kind-hearted boy, too good for this village. He didn't deserve what happened to him. Menma shook his head. "So, that's the story Jiraiya told you, huh?" he said, his tone laced with bitterness. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. "What do you mean?" she asked. Menma reached up and removed his mask, revealing his face fully. Thick whisker-like scars adorned his cheeks. "I mean that it wasn't the Akatsuki who took me, Bah-chan," he said, his voice trembling with suppressed emotions. "I was there." Tsunade's eyes widened in shock. "Naruto?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Naruto revealed the Shodame's necklace, hanging from his neck. "You gave this to me when I won our bet with the raised non," he said softly. Tears streamed down Tsunade's face as she staggered forward. "How is this possible?" she cried. Naruto's expression darkened. 2 months into the trip, Jiraiya betrayed me, he said, his voice hollow. He handed me over to Danzo, who planned to turn me into a weapon. I escaped, but not before losing something important. Tsunade's mind reeled. "How did you get away?" she asked. "Kurama, yes, that's the Nine-Tails name, sacrificed himself for me. His chakra fried the seals Jiraiya placed on me, giving me the strength to flee. In doing so, I became the new Kyuubi," Naruto said, revealing 9 white fox tails and black ears atop his head. Tsunade rushed to embrace him, tears flowing freely. "Naruto, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "It wasn't your fault, Bah-chan," he said, pulling back gently. Tsunade clenched her fists. Jiraiya returned months later, spinning some story to cover his tracks. And Danzo? That explains his arrogance during that council meeting, she muttered. Naruto's gaze hardened. He's been harassing you, hasn't he? He asked. Tsunade scoffed. He's practically taken over, using my grief to push his agenda. The village has turned its back on everything Sensei believed in, she said bitterly. What about the others? My friends? Naruto asked. Tsunade sighed deeply. Only Hinata and Sakura still honor your memory, along with Shizen, Anko, and a few others. The rest. They despise you, she admitted. This about Konohamaru and his friends? Naruto inquires, and Tsunade exhales heavily. They've been led to despise you by Asuma, Kurane, and those meddling elders, Tsunade responds. Naruto rakes his fingers through his hair. I see. That makes this decision simpler, he remarks, approaching the balcony railing. What decision? Tsunade asks. Naruto reaches into his right cargo pocket and hands her a small journal. Read it. After I evaded Jiraiya, Kurama guided me to Azashiyagakur, he explains. Tsunade opens the journal and begins to skim through it. How did you know to go there? She inquires. Apparently, fragments of mom and dad's spirits were left imprinted in the seal to assist me in controlling Kurama's power, Naruto reveals, stunning Tsunade. I was, of course, shocked and furious, but I got over it. I told them everything that happened, and they were livid. They reviewed my memories and trained me in my mindscape until their chakra remnants faded. I learned everything they knew, Naruto elaborates. Tsunade's eyes widen gradually as Naruto smirks. You're looking at not only the successor to the Nine Tails but also the Yellow Flash reborn, he declares. Those foolish cowards, Tsunade starts, but her gasp of shock transforms into an enraged shout. That despicable cripple he and the elders conspired behind Sensei's back and betrayed Azashiyagakur. She exclaims. Danzo feared Izashio's strength, Naruto states. Tsunade shuts the journal tightly. He's a xenophobic tyrant, Tsunade snaps. Exactly, and from what you just said, he's likely maneuvering to seize the Hokage seed from you, Naruto points out. Then what's your suggestion? Tsunade questions. Naruto unwraps a lollipop, popping it into his mouth with a confident smirk. Gather those you trust. I have a plan, he says, handing her a distinct tri-pronged kunai. Use this once everyone is assembled. I'll be there in a flash, Naruto instructs, disappearing in a burst of white light. Tsunade clenches the kunai in her hand and hastily sets out to gather her trusted allies. An hour later. Tsunade sits at her desk as her allies file into her office. What's going on, Lady Tsunade? Shizen asks. Tsunade places the tri-pronged kunai on her desk. I've uncovered things that have shaken my resolve to remain Hokage, she states, shocking the group. Are you serious, Lady Tsunade? Anko shouts. Tsunade throws the kunai into the ceiling, and a flash of white light fills the room. Naruto appears, cloaked with a large scroll on his back, prompting everyone to ready themselves for a fight. Hinata activates her Byakugan. Stand down. Tsunade orders. Hinata gasps, her eyes wide. And Naruto, she stammers, stunning everyone. Hinata. Naruto is dead, Sakura asserts. Naruto pulls back his hood with a tilt of his head. Hinata's eyes were always sharp. Dadobia, he says. That's impossible. Lord Jiraiya reported that Naruto was captured and killed by the Akatsuki, some says. That's true, Mom, but Lord Jiraiya didn't bring back a body, Hana interjects. I agree. His scent matches the boy but has an even stronger fox element now, Kuromaru observes. Anko licks her lips while holding a kunai. I can taste his blood to be sure, Anko quips. Naruto sighs, his expression weary. I'd prefer if you didn't, he says. Naruto, Sakura begins, but cuts herself off as she punches him squarely in the stomach. Naruto doubles over, collapsing to his knees. Sakura shakes her fist with a glare. Naruto, you idiot, she mutters, tears brimming in her eyes. I deserved that. I'll explain. Is this everyone? Naruto asks, pulling himself upright. Yes. Anyone else could already be compromised, Tsunade answers, suppressing a chuckle. What do you mean, Lady Tsunade? Shizen questions. Everyone else has been swayed by Danzo's propaganda against me as the former Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, Naruto reveals. Everyone looks somber. What do you mean, former? Hana asks. Naruto recounts the same explanation he gave to Tsunade, revealing his fox-like traits. Most of the women in the room squeal at the sight, except for Anko, Yojeo, and Some. Like a true alpha, Some comments, and Anko giggles. So fluffy, Hinata, Shizen, and Sakura murmur as they grab his tails. Hana clears her throat, blushing faintly. All right, why did you call us here? She asks. Naruto pulls his tails free with a quick shake and dispels them. Simple. You're all going to die, he announces, and the room falls into stunned silence. What? They all shout in unison. Naruto raises his hands to calm them. Not literally. I'm going to fake your deaths so you can escape. If you refuse, I'll erase your memories of this moment, he clarifies. Why do we have to leave, Naruto? Hinata asks hesitantly. Because sooner or later, Danzo will move against Tsunade to take over as Hokage, Naruto starts but sighs deeply. Besides, haven't your loved ones, peers, and even the villagers grown colder toward you all? He adds. He's right. The village has always had it out for me, but since Naruto's death, it's shifted back onto me, Anko admits. My Umbu squad has started questioning my loyalty, Yojeo confesses, removing her mask. Even my father branded me, Hinata says softly, moving her bangs to reveal a mark. Naruto clenches his fists. So, what will it be? He asks. This is my chance to break away from the pack. So, I'm in, Hana declared firmly. I support my daughter. Kiba's been pushing to replace me as clan head, and the elders seem to be leaning his way, Some added. Konoha has never truly accepted me. I've got nothing to lose, Anko said with a shrug. Nico glanced at her mask before looking to Tsunade. I'm loyal to the Hokage. Where she goes, I follow, she stated with conviction. Hinata nervously poked her fingers together but looked at Naruto with determination. And Naruto? I want to come with you, she stammered. Thank you, everyone. Do you have everything you need? We can't afford to delay. I'll leave clones behind to monitor the aftermath, Naruto said, creating 4 shadow clones. All right, hold on to each other, he instructed, placing a hand on Tsunade's shoulder. Forming a half-ram sign, he commanded, cover my trail and detonate when the time is right, before the group disappeared in a flash of white light. One of the clones smirked. All right, let's get to work, he said as the others nodded. The village of Konoha slumbered peacefully under the moonlight until an ear-splitting explosion shattered the quiet. Flames engulfed the Hokage Tower, lighting up the night sky. Shinobi and Umbu raced to the scene, trying to extinguish the inferno while panicked civilians fled. Despite their efforts, the flames raged on, consuming half the building before being subdued. Danzo and the village elders arrived at the smoldering ruins. What's the situation? Danzo demanded. The tower was engulfed in an instantaneous explosion. Hokage-sama might have been inside, reported an Umbu operative codenamed Wolf. Danzo tightened his grip on his cane. Continue the search, he ordered. Could Tsunade have perished in the explosion? Kohara speculated aloud, prompting Homura to adjust his glasses with a calculated expression. This could be an opportunity for the village, Danzo stated coolly. By dawn, the fire was out, and the council convened at Umbu headquarters. Any updates on the incident? Shukaku inquired. Initial findings suggest a sudden and massive explosion, Inoichi reported. Who else was in the tower besides the Hokage? Shukaku pressed. Homura glanced at a document and replied, according to records, Shizun Kato, Some and Hana and Yazuka with their dogs, Anko Mitarashi, Nico, Sakura Harano, and Hinata Hyuga were all present. Good riddance. They were all demon sympathizers, especially my niece, Akika Harano sneered, flipping her strawberry blonde hair. Regardless, this is a major loss. We've now lost 3 Hokage in less than 2 decades. We need stability, or other nations will see us as weak, Hayashi Hyuga said, showing no concern for his daughter. I nominate Danzo for Hokage, Koharu announced. Homura quickly seconded the motion. After a brief discussion, the council voted in favor. I humbly accept the position of Hokage, Danzo said. I'll notify the daimyo of our decision, Homura added as the meeting adjourned. Once alone, Kohara remarked, if we knew who caused this, I'd almost thank them. I wouldn't. The scroll of sealing was lost in the blaze, Danzo replied grimly. Contact Orochimaru. It's time we brought the Uchiha and the Rogue Sun back into the fold, he added, and the elders nodded in agreement. At the ruins of Uzushiangakur, Naruto and his group appeared amidst the crumbling remains. The jarring journey left them queasy, but Tsunade recovered first, her eyes scanning the scene of devastation. This is the aftermath of the Third Great Shinobi War, she murmured. Exactly. 4 nations joined forces to destroy this small country, Naruto replied. 4. Some asked, shocked. Tsunade sighed heavily. Danzo, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya sold out the Uzumaki clan to Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri, she explained, drawing stunned gasps. She's right. I found a journal here detailing how Danzo contacted the cages and Jiraiya provided tools to breach the island's defenses. The Uzumaki were slaughtered, and the survivors scattered, Naruto added. Did the third Hokage know about this? Sakura asked hesitantly. Not until it was too late. By then, the damage was done, Naruto replied grimly. The group grew somber as Naruto led them through the ruins. Follow me. I found a bunker where we can stay the night. Tomorrow, we'll move out, he said before stopping abruptly. Wait. I have a proposal for all of you, Naruto announced. What kind of proposal? Tsunade asked, narrowing her eyes. I want to make you into pseudo-tailed beasts, Naruto declared, shocking everyone. What? How is that possible? They demanded in unison. Naruto gave a mischievous grin. I can fuse a portion of my chakra with yours. It's similar to what Kurama did for me but without the risk of death. You'd gain enhanced abilities based on your chakra reserves, he explained. It's entirely your choice. You'd be giving up a part of your humanity, so think it over tonight, Naruto added, continuing toward the bunker. What's in that big scroll? Anko asked as they walked. The sacred scroll. I wasn't going to let it stay in Konoha, Naruto replied. Take any room you want. We'll talk in the morning, he said, retreating to his quarters. As the group settled in, they gathered in Tsunade's room to discuss Naruto's offer. So, what do you think? She asked, her tone serious. It's hard to determine his true intentions. It seems like the boy wants to turn us into something akin to tailed beasts, but we don't know why or how he became what he is now, Some began. I trust Naruto-kun. He returned to help us, Hinata interjected softly. Shizen sighed, gently stroking Tonton, who let out a small oink. If we understood his plan, it might be easier to decide what to do, she said. Maybe he wants revenge on the village, Hana suggested, earning a scoff from Anko. Can you blame him? The village has done everything to crush him. Even the people he trusted betrayed him over trivial reasons. And don't even get me started on Iruka. He was ordered to act as his friend, Anko said sharply. How would you know that? Sakura questioned, her voice skeptical. Anko's face darkened. He got drunk one night and tried to take advantage of me. He spilled everything before I put him in his place, she replied curtly. Anyway, Tsunade interjected, redirecting the conversation, we'll speak to him tomorrow and decide from there. The next day, Naruto dropped a large scroll beside his chair and tossed his coat over it. The new vessel for the beast inside him stretched out on his cot, letting out a tired sigh. He pulled off his glove, revealing a sun-shaped mark on the back of his hand. Higura Mojiji. I managed to get some of my important people out, but I couldn't save Iruka-sensei, he thought to himself. His ears twitched at a faint noise, and a low growl escaped his throat. Startled, a small white blur darted out from beneath the cot. Naruto blinked, his instincts calming. Sorry, Haru, he said gently, as the small white fox leapt into his arms. Haru yipped softly, and Naruto scratched behind her ear, his mind drifting to memories he'd rather forget. Flashback. Naruto staggered, barely able to stand as glowing red seals blazed across his skin. Pain, fury, and despair contorted his expression as he tried to flee. Behind him were his teacher, his mentor, and a man he'd once trusted, now his betrayer. Stop running, Naruto. Accept your fate as the village's weapon, the man commanded coldly. Inside the seal, the great beast raged against its cage, its enormous head slamming into the bars. I won't let them use the boy as a tool. I refuse to be enslaved again. It roared. Kurama paused, staring at its reflection in the still water. Old man, you were right. It will take someone truly pure to understand me, it thought, determination hardening its gaze. Naruto. I'll save you. But in return, you must promise me one thing: take revenge on Madara for what he did to me, Kurama declared. Naruto collapsed to his knees, but an explosion of red energy forced him upright, his body trembling with newfound strength. His tormentor froze, eyes wide. The fox is breaking loose, he exclaimed in alarm. Naruto's glowing crimson eyes fixed on the man. His voice, tinged with the beast's deep growl, echoed with chilling finality. Konoha will never have this boy. You and that one-eyed traitor have sown the seeds of your own destruction. You've created your own destroyer, he declared before vanishing with inhuman speed. End flashback. Naruto opened his slitted blue eyes, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. You were right, Kurama. They've forged their own downfall. The irony is delicious, he mused as sleep overtook him. The next morning, Naruto made his way to the surface for his usual workout, only to find Tsunade and a group of others waiting for him. Have you made your decision? He asked bluntly. We want to understand your intentions first, Tsunade replied firmly. Naruto regarded them for a moment before nodding. Follow me, he said, leading them to a vast chamber. My goals are layered and complex, so to explain them, I'll have to start with a bit of history, Naruto began, turning to face the group. You've all heard of the Sage of Six Paths, haven't you? They nodded. Good. His real name was Hagoromo Akatsuki. But his story begins with someone even more powerful: his mother, Kaguya, the goddess of the sacred tree. She was created to guard it, but she fell in love with a man named Tenji and befriended a woman named Aino. Over time, fear and jealousy poisoned Tenji's mind, and Kaguya was betrayed. Forced to flee, she took refuge with Aino, Naruto explained, his voice steady and measured. Aino discovered Kaguya was pregnant and tried to intervene, but she was killed. Consumed by grief, Kaguya ate the sacred fruit from the tree and became the first wielder of chakra, Naruto continued, his words shocking the group. Kaguya's power drove her mad. She slaughtered Tenji and anyone who opposed her. Years later, she gave birth to two sons, Hagoromo and Hamura. But when her tyranny became too much, the brothers turned against her, Naruto said. Hagoromo wielded two of the three legendary eye techniques, the Sharingan, and later the Rinnegan, he added. How do you know all this? Hana asked suspiciously. Naruto pulled off his glove, revealing the sun-shaped mark on his hand. When Kurama used a forbidden technique exclusive to the beasts, called Sosei, I technically died. That's when I met Hagoromo and learned the truth, he replied. So much of this matches what my grandfather used to say, Tsunade murmured. Naruto's smirk returned. Your grandfather wasn't wrong. Bonds are powerful. But sometimes, power speaks louder than any bond. Yep. Indra and Ashura refused to let their rivalry end. Indra despised Ashura for inheriting their father's legacy, while Ashura was determined to stop Indra's descent into madness. Over time, their souls continued to reincarnate into new vessels. Two of the most notable reincarnations were Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. Now, Sasuke and I are the current incarnations of Indra and Ashura, Naruto explained, shocking the group yet again. This is absolutely insane, Anko remarked. No kidding, Naruto said, crossing his arms and looking at his palm. Now, let me lay out my goals. First, I intend to stop the Akatsuki. Next, I will eliminate Black Zetsu to ensure Kaguya is never resurrected. Then, I will take Sasuke's Six Paths power to bring an end to Indra's cycle of hatred. Lastly, I will destroy the village of Konoha, he declared. So, you are seeking revenge on Konoha? Shizune asked cautiously. Not on the village as a whole, Naruto clarified. My target is Danzo and those loyal to him. They must answer for their crimes. The group exchanged glances, contemplating his words. Naruto turned to them with a serious expression. Now, will you undergo the transformation to stand with me in this fight? He asked. I will, Naruto, Hinata answered without hesitation. Naruto's gaze softened as he smiled warmly. Thank you, Hinata. I'm sorry I didn't recognize your feelings for me earlier. Hinata blushed deeply at his words, but before she could respond, Sakura stepped forward. I'll do it too. If this means I can protect those I care about, I'm in, she said. Naruto scratched the back of his head, his grin turning sheepish. Merging with Kurama helped me understand things better, he admitted. Tsunade took a deep breath before nodding. I'll help you, Naruto. Konoha has taken so much from me. It's time they paid the price, she declared. Some exchanged a glance with her daughter, Hana. We'll assist you, but we can't undergo the transformation. It could interfere with our connection to our Ninken, she explained. That's fine, Naruto assured her. Your help is still invaluable. If this transformation lets me finally take down Orochimaru, count me in, Anko said. Naruto turned to Shizune and Yojeo. What about you two? He asked. Yojeo shook her head slightly. I'll assist you, but I'll decline the transformation, she said. Shizune, on the other hand, placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. I'll stand by you, Naruto. You're like a little brother to me, and I'll do whatever it takes to help you, she said. Naruto gave her a grateful smile before a small white fox trotted up to him. Morning, Haru, he greeted, picking up the fox. Who's this? Anko asked, curious. Naruto chuckled. This is Haru. I found her on the island. She's the first being I shared my chakra with, which gave her a second tail, he explained as Haru climbed onto his head. Turning back to the group, Naruto clapped his hands. All right, everyone who's ready, step into the circle. We'll begin the process, he said. As the participants gathered, 5 shadow clones appeared around Naruto, each radiating immense energy. These clones are filled with my chakra, both Biju and 6 paths energy. They'll guide your transformation. Just relax and let it happen, he instructed. The clones placed their hands on the participants' backs, and domes of glowing red energy enveloped them. Some, Hana, and Yojeo watched in awe as waves of chakra surged through the chamber. Naruto stood firm, radiating a steady, warm energy to stabilize the process. After a few minutes, the domes dissipated, revealing the transformed individuals. Hinata emerged first, now appearing older and more confident, with 7 lavender tails swishing behind her. Sakura followed, her 7 pink tails tipped with black, and her body more mature. She glanced down at herself, smirking at her enhanced physique. Tsunade rose next, her form youthful and radiant, with 8 golden tails tipped with black. Shizune staggered to her feet, her 6 black tails with white tips swaying slightly. Anko, now sporting 6 purple tails, stretched her limbs experimentally. How do you all feel? Naruto asked. Stronger than I ever imagined, Anko said, a grin spreading across her face. And that damn mark is finally gone. It's like I'm in my prime again, Tsunade marveled. Hinata and Sakura looked at their transformed reflections, noting the changes to their appearances. It's surreal, Hinata murmured, running a hand through her longer hair. So, what's the next step? Tsunade asked, her new fox ears twitching slightly. Naruto set Haru down and folded his arms. First, we pack up and move to my base. Before that, though, you'll need to get used to your new strength and abilities. You're far stronger now, and it's crucial to understand your limits, he explained. How do we make the tails and ears disappear? Sakura asked. Naruto smirked. Just focus and will them away, he replied. The group concentrated, and their animalistic features receded. Where's this base of yours? Hinata inquired. Naruto smiled slyly. The land of snow, or rather, the land of spring, he revealed. Naruto perched on the rooftop of the cage mansion, his legs crossed and Haru nestled in his lap. This building. It reminds me so much of the Hokage Tower back in Konoha, he mused quietly. It had been a month since he had brought Tsunade and the others to Uzushio and transformed them into pseudo-fox Biju. During this time, he'd sent a clone to Spring to inform Kyoki of his delayed return, prioritizing the training and adjustment of his group. An unexpected situation arose, however one that Naruto anticipated. The transformation process caused Tsunade, Anko, Shizune, Sakura, and Hinata to unconsciously emit strong pheromones. Some and Hana were the first to notice and addressed Naruto about it. He explained the phenomenon, revealing that their newly enhanced bodies carried animalistic instincts, including an instinctual drive to bond with their alpha. Understanding the implications, some agreed to help them control these impulses. Although initially taken aback, the women eventually accepted the reality and spent a week learning to suppress these urges. Over the following 3 weeks, Naruto trained them intensively, teaching them advanced techniques like the Shadow Clone Jutsu and helping them strengthen their core abilities. He also opened the doors to Uzushio's treasure trove of knowledge, weapons, and techniques, allowing each of them to expand their skill sets. Ready to head back home, Haru? Naruto asked, stroking the fox's soft fur. Haru yipped in response, and Naruto smiled. Rising to his feet, he vanished in a whirlwind of air, reappearing near his group. Tsunade and the others were meditating nearby, their fox ears twitching at the faintest sounds. Is it time to leave? Tsunade asked as she stood. Yeah, I've been away for too long. Kyoki will be waiting, Naruto replied. The group got to their feet, each with their own thoughts about returning. I can't wait for a long, hot bath, Sakura muttered, rolling her shoulders. And dangle lots of it, Anko added, grinning. Naruto handed Haru to Hinata, and the group formed a circle, holding hands before disappearing in a flash of radiant light. Spring Country. The group reappeared in the courtyard of an elegant estate surrounded by lush gardens and tranquil scenery. Welcome to my home, Naruto announced with a satisfied grin. The others looked around, awestruck by the beauty and scale of the property. It has several training areas, a dojo, and an outdoor bath, Naruto continued, watching Haru dart off to explore. Feel free to look around. I need to report in. With that, he disappeared in a blur, leaving the group to explore. Anko, Sakura, Yojeo, Hana, and some immediately made their way toward the outdoor bath, eager to unwind. Meanwhile, Tsunade, Shizune, and Hinata explored the estate, marveling at its design. This place is incredible, Tsunade remarked as they wandered through spacious halls and luxurious rooms. They discovered 10 well-appointed bedrooms, multiple bathrooms, a fully stocked kitchen, and an armory brimming with weapons. One massive weapon in particular caught their attention, an enormous halberd with an intricate design, its pommel shaped like a crescent moon and its blade wrapped with white fabric. That thing is enormous, Tsunade observed, her tone a mix of awe and disbelief. Their exploration eventually led them to the outdoor bath, where the others were already relaxing. Took you long enough, Anko teased as she slid deeper into the steaming water. We got caught up admiring the place, Shizune replied, joining them. Tsunade and Hinata followed, though the latter tried to hide her figure. I bet Naruto would love that, Anko teased, making Hinata turn bright red. Or maybe Tsunade's, she added, winking. You think so? Tsunade chuckled, her tone playful. Or is that just the hormones talking? I get why Hinata has a thing for him, but all of us? Sakura asked, running a towel over her arms. Since we became pseudo-foxes, Naruto is our alpha, some explained, sipping a small cup of sake. Instincts push us to bond with him. You learn to suppress those urges, but they won't fully disappear until you mark him as your mate. I have to admit, I always found the kid adorable. Now he's grown into someone really tempting, Anko mused, smirking. His whiskers are cute, Sakura added softly. Hinata sank deeper into the water, her cheeks flushed. I do love him. But I'm so embarrassed, she murmured. Go for it, Hinata. You've loved him the longest, so claim him first. Just let us know how big he is, Anko teased, her grin widening as Hinata's face turned crimson. Meanwhile, Naruto stood in Koyoki's office, watching her review a document. Sorry for taking so long to return, he said, bowing slightly. It's fine, Naruto. How are they adjusting? Kyoki asked, her violet blue eyes meeting his. She wore a fitted green blouse and a simple gray skirt, exuding a regal yet approachable aura. They're adapting well, but it'll take time for them to maintain a low profile, Naruto replied. Kyoki nodded thoughtfully. Perhaps I could bring them into my ghost initiative, like you. They could help teach the next generation and lay the foundation for what I'm building. Naruto gave her a soft smile, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. If that's your vision, I'll support you every step of the way. Dadabia. Kyoki chuckled warmly at his sincerity. Though you've changed so much, that side of you will never disappear, Kyoki remarked. Thank you, Kyoki. By your leave, then, Naruto replied, excusing himself. He walked back to his compound, lost in thought. Kurama. I wish you were here. I need help with this problem, or rather, 5 problems, he pondered. He continued walking but suddenly stopped, a realization hitting him. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, he thought, creating 5 clones. We need food and sake. 3 of you, gather supplies. You 2, pick up basic clothing, Naruto instructed, and the 5 clones saluted before leaping off. As Naruto moved through the townspeople greeted him. Hello, Ghost-sama. Hello, Menma-sama, several called out. Here, Ghost Dano, an older woman said, tossing him an apple. Naruto lowered his mask, revealing his face under a henge. Thanks, Kaed, he said, continuing his walk. Even if I have to wear a henge to hide my whiskers, this is what I've always wanted, people treating me fairly, not as some demon incarnate, he thought to himself. He reached his compound just as the clones arrived, laden with bags. After finishing his apple, Naruto opened the gate. He could sense that the group was gathered in the living room. I'll take care of the clothes. You all start on dinner, he said, pushing open the front door. After slipping off his boots, he made his way to the living room, where the group was already trying on his robes. Sorry about that. I have some simple clothes for now, until you can shop for new ones, Naruto explained, dropping the bags. He quickly turned around as they began to strip off their robes to search through the bags. You know, you can watch, Kyoki, Anko teased, and Naruto scratched his head in embarrassment. Sorry, I'm a gentleman, unlike that pervert, Naruto replied, his voice slightly edged. Don't mention that bastard, Tsunade said, slipping into a t-shirt and sweatpants. He was always sniffing around me after he came back to Konoha. Naruto rubbed his forehead and popped a lollipop into his mouth. They're just temporary clothes. You can get your own tomorrow, he said, turning back to them. And Naruto? We're decent, Hinata stammered, and Naruto turned around. So, how's everyone feeling? About the urges, I mean. I know I neglected to mention that part before the change, Naruto asked, sitting down in a chair. The room fell silent, with Hinata blushing intensely and keeping her head down. We can handle it, Naruto, but deep down. I want you to claim me and make me yours, Tsunade remarked. Same here, Kyoki. I want you to destroy me for all other men, Anko added, licking her lips. How did you handle your urges, Naruto-kun? Shizen asked. Naruto pointed to the lollipop in his mouth. I sucked on lollipops. But when I was on the island, I used a Kage Bunshin and had it use my sexy jutsu, he began, making Anko burst into laughter. So you, fucked yourself. Anko laughed, followed by some. Yeah, and it worked for about 3 months. But eventually, I decided to go back to the mainland. I spent a week at a brothel in the capital. The matron, named Yumi, taught me how to please a woman properly and curbed my urges, Naruto explained. Please a woman properly? Sakura inquired. Naruto nodded slowly, crossing his legs. She said I was a natural at cunnilingus, he added, shocking everyone. I'm sold. Anko chirped. Naruto rubbed his head sheepishly, his cheeks flushed. After that, I was able to control my urges and focused on my training. But I'd still have occasional romps, he continued. Putting that aside for now. Their feelings for you are a byproduct of their transformations. You won't force them into anything, as Tsum told us earlier, Yojeo commented. No. I won't do something so despicable. I admit I'm attracted to them, but I refuse to force them into anything. All of you have stood by me when everyone else abandoned me. To me, you are my precious people, Naruto declared, causing the group to smile. Okay, let's put this aside for real. How are you going to explain us to the people of spring? To the world, we're dead, Tsunade asked. Simple. You'll become ghosts, just like me. Outside of Kyoki, I am Menma the ghost of Flash, or the ghost of spring. You'll need to change your appearances, like Bahn does with her special henge, Naruto explained. Kyoki. You're the fucking ghost, an S-rank thread with a flea on site order, Anko shouted, and Naruto nodded, shocking them all. Ghost. Sakura exclaimed. After a year of training in Izushio, I needed experience. But first, I went to meet the other Jinchuriki and warn them about the Akatsuki and the possibility of Konoha replacing me, Naruto began. Why? Sakura asked, and Naruto sighed. Danzo wants me to be a weapon. A glorified attack dog. I wouldn't put it past him to try and steal another Jinchuriki for that purpose, Naruto replied. First, I met the Nibi Jinchuriki, Yujito and II, outside of Kumo by chance. Monetabi and Kurama were old friends, which allowed Yujito to trust me. The other Jinchuriki, Darui, the right hand of the Raikage, doesn't leave Kumagakuer, but she agreed to pass it on. I even gave her one of my kunao just in case, Naruto continued. In case the Akatsuki attacked, Shizen surmised, and Naruto nodded. On my way to IWA, I ran into a missing nin named Hirako and his 3 followers, Naruto said, and Tsunade gasped. Did you say Hirako? Tsunade asked, raising an eyebrow, and Naruto gave a slight nod. Who's Hirako, Tsunade-sama? Shizen inquired. Tsunade sighed deeply, her expression darkening. He was someone I knew in my youth, but he had no particular talent. So, he created a technique to steal Kekkai Genkai from others. Our master sent us to stop him, but he managed to escape with his research, she explained. He perfected it, Naruto continued, his voice low. He was able to use swift, storm, dark, and steel release techniques. He could absorb chakra and even created strange creatures. It was a battle that tested my skills, but eventually, Hirako and his followers were defeated. Before he died, he rambled about perfection and comrades. He even called me a ghost. I adopted the title. After destroying his research and giving him a proper shinobi's burial, I made my way to IWA. But they didn't trust me. Their Bijiryu blamed me for Kurama's death. I told them about the Akatsuki and left immediately. He fell silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Kurama's death has affected you, hasn't it, Naruto? Hinata asked, her voice filled with concern. Naruto nodded quietly. Yeah. He gave his life to save mine, he replied, running a hand through his hair. After leaving IWA, I went to Taki to meet with the Nanabi, but they were nowhere to be found. Taki is very cautious about outsiders. So, I reluctantly headed to Suna to see Gaara. At first, he didn't believe me, but I shared something only the 2 of us would know. We caught up, and I fixed his seal, freeing Shukaku from the madness that was consuming him. Gaara told me about the current events in Konoha and the repeal of the old law, Naruto said, his gaze distant. Tsunade's eyes lowered, reflecting her thoughts. I'll admit, it was a clever move by Danzo to have the law repealed. It explains why everyone turned on me, aside from those who still believed in me, like the Ichiraku family, Naruto added, chewing on the stem of his lollipop. How is that clever? Shizen asked, puzzled. Danzo knew I was still out there. To ensure I had nowhere to return to, he poisoned the minds of Konoha with propaganda, painting me as nothing more than Kurama in human form. And unfortunately, most of the older generation believed it, Naruto explained. When you hear a lie long enough, you start to believe it. And anyone who doesn't buy into it is considered a demon lover and is cast aside, no matter their status, he added, the bitterness evident in his voice. All of you swam against the tide of hate. After parting ways with Gaara, I made my way to the land of water, but found nothing. The Sanbai was dead and would only reform in a few months. The Rokubai's Jinchuriki is a recluse and hasn't been seen since the Civil War, Naruto continued, his tone becoming more serious. That's when I realized I needed a new base of operations. Bizishio was out, but I knew of a place, and I made it here just in time before it was destroyed. Destroyed? Sakura exclaimed, shocked. Naruto placed the lollipop stem back in its wrapper, his face hardening. The Land of Sky attacked here for its technology, using it as a test run for a revenge plot against the 5 great nations. Their leader was a man named Shino. He and Orochimaru were old allies. He commanded a force of 800 strong, with a flying city, against a small group of samurai and a few shinobi, he explained, his voice cold. A dark glint passed over his eyes. I made 100 clones with different abilities and sent them into the city. I headed for the island myself. The people of Spring and the Sky Shinobi witnessed the birth of the Shiro Senko. Just as IWA had witnessed my father's legacy, he paused briefly, his face growing darker. Once I reached the island, I ran into more Sky Ninja on my way to the center. That's where I found Shino, trying to revive a creature known as the Ribi. It feeds off negative emotions, and Shino slaughtered dozens to feed it. He even let the Ribi possess his body, Naruto explained. A tough battle, huh? Some asked, her tone skeptical. Naruto nodded, his jaw tight. The Ribi thrives on negative emotions and creates dark chakra. Like regular chakra, it needs control. After a few Raiznan and a Bijudama, the creature was destroyed, and the fortress sank beneath the water. When I reached the mainland, the people started calling me the Ghost of Spring or Phantom Hero. Luckily, none of the clones used the HAREM, he said. You know the HAREM, too? Some remarked. Naruto smiled faintly, and a chain materialized from his palm. I learned everything my parents knew. After everything settled, I met with Kyoki. She thanked me, but was shocked when she realized who I really was. First, she slapped me, then she hugged me. I explained everything to her, and she agreed to make me her personal shinobi, or ghost, he said. How did word get out about what you did? Some were saying the Yellow Flash's ghost had returned, hence the flee on-site orders, Yojeo asked, her brow furrowing. Several villages had been keeping close watch on the Land of Sky. IWA, especially. As I said, I was glad none of the clones used the HAREM or Raiznan. They used Zanjutsu in the Flash Step, an advanced Shunshin technique I developed in Izishio, Naruto explained, rolling up his sleeve to reveal a whirlpool tattoo on his arm. He focused his chakra, and a sword emerged within a red sheath. Rising from his seat, Naruto drew the sword, revealing a black blade with a cross guard shaped like a whirlpool, the hilt wrapped in red and black. No. I want you to be with me, Naruto, Hinata says, her voice trembling. The next day, Naruto and the others, disguised under henges, made their way to a shop for new clothes before meeting with Kyoki. Hinata was by his side, holding his gloved hand while the others exchanged sly looks, especially Tsunade, Anko, Yojeo, Sam, and Hana. So the place we're going to specializes in clothes with an unusual design, but they're battle-ready and highly durable, Naruto explains. He was dressed in black cargo pants, combat boots, a half mask covering his face, and a white oriental shirt with black sleeves. They arrive at a modest shop, and Anko looks at it in disbelief. This is it. It is, Naruto responds, pushing the door open. Oi, Dojima-san, I've brought some customers. He calls out. Rapid footsteps sound as a slender man with cyan-colored hair and blue eyes rushes toward them. Menma-kun. Dojima greets warmly. Welcome to my little hideaway. Please, come in, he says, dressed in a kimono. The group follows him downstairs, and Dojima explains, don't let the looks fool you. My creations are battle-tested and incredibly durable. Menma-kun can vouch for that. He slides open a set of doors, revealing a room full of mannequins dressed in various outfits. Take your time and browse. These outfits are made from special fabric that adapts to your body, Dojima continues. That's convenient, Anko remarks. Naruto takes a seat on a nearby sofa and pulls out a book from his cargo pants. Dojima, just put it all on my tab, he says. Dojima rubs his hands together. Of course, Dojima agrees. The others begin to explore the different outfits while Naruto reads. Any preferences? Dojima asks. This looks practical. I focus on taijutsu, so this outfit seems to suit me, Hinata says, holding up a lavender kimono blouse with mesh sleeves connecting to a dark purple obi, navy shorts, and footed tights with ankle boots lined with lavender fur around the tops. Good choice. I also suggest this coat, Dojima adds, pointing to a hip-length white coat with lavender fur on the cuffs and collar. Hinata smiles. That would work well. She heads to the changing room with the clothes. This fits perfectly, Sakura comments, wearing a form-fitting maroon kipeo dress, black capri pants, kunoichi boots, and black arm sleeves that secure at the middle finger. I'll take this. Anko exclaims, pointing to a short gray skirt, a gray buttonless jacket, a black hat, and long black boots. I'll grab a bodysuit too, so I'm not showing too much skin, Anko adds. Tsunade chooses black cargos with red trim, paired with a lavender vest, a black tie, and a white button-up overcoat, finishing with white gloves. Sam, ever bold, picks a black leotard and white chaps with knee-high boots and arm-length, fingerless gloves. Haha. I'll show as much skin as I want. Sam laughs. Hana, in contrast, selects a more reserved outfit with a black button vest with coat tails, a silver button on the front, a white, sleeveless crop undershirt, white shorts, black low-heeled boots, and stockings that fade from black to purple at her ankles, matching purple arm warmers. Shizen goes for a conservative look, choosing a black hakama with a white kimono blouse, a black shrug with a long left sleeve, and a short right sleeve. She adds black arm warmers that extend to her middle fingers, with a purple band on top. Yojeo picks an outfit similar to her umbu uniform but with a dark purple kimono blouse and no vest, finishing with heeled combat boots. What do you think, Naruto-kun? Shizen asks. Naruto looks up from his book and glances at the others' outfits. I like them, he says. Menma-kun, I have some weapons and accessories upstairs, Dojima mentions. That's fine. Let's head to Kyoki-sama, Naruto responds as they prepare to leave. You weren't kidding about the unusual fashion, Anko comments as they exit the store. It's not so bad, Naruto remarks. Dojima was a former shinobi here in spring, but after Dodo's takeover, he left and traveled, learning about clothes instead of continuing with war. They leap to the rooftops, covering more ground, and eventually arrive at the palace. They're led to Koyoki's study, where a guard informs them that Kyoki is displeased about something. In what regard? Naruto asks, and the guard opens the door. I'm not sure, but she received a delivery, the guard responds as he opens the door. Kyoki sits at her desk, and after the guard leaves, she looks up and smiles. You can drop your henges, she says, and the group complies. Thank you for helping us, Kyoki-sama, Tsunade says as they bow. It's my honor, Kyoki says. You didn't abandon Naruto-kun when he needed you most, and you kept his memory alive, despite Konoha's bias against him, she adds with a sigh. Naruto is a hero, as his father always hoped he would be, some remarks, and Kyoki nods in agreement. I'm curious about the message that's got you so unsettled, Naruto asks, noticing Kyoki's frown as she hands him a letter. It was delivered by a toad from Konoha, Kyoki explains, and the room falls silent. Naruto scans the letter and throws it back onto the desk. So, they want to meet with the ghost of spring, huh? He says with a hint of amusement. Should I refuse? Kyoki asks, but Naruto shakes his head. No. Just tell them that I'm not in the country right now, Naruto responds. Is that the best move? Tsunade inquires, and Naruto grins, his expression sharp and playful. Anyway. Let's focus on the present matter. Now, as Naruto may have or may not have explained. I'd like everyone to join spring, Kyoki declares. That sounds fine, but technically, we're all considered dead in the eyes of the world, Anko comments with a hint of sarcasm, and Naruto smirks. True enough. But you'll do as I do. You can wear a mask or use special henge, like Tsunade. You'll be ghosts, or phantoms, who answer only to Kyoki, Naruto explains. I even have code names for all of you to stay incognito. Tsunade will be Mercy, Shizen will be Sen, for Senbon, Sakura will be Cherry, Anko will be Black Mamba, Some will be Widowmaker, Hana will be Wolf, Yojeo will be Moon, and Hinata will be Cinnamon, Naruto adds with a slight chuckle. I like that. Ha ha ha, some laughs, followed by Anko. Naruto chuckles as well, but suddenly his body stiffens, and a scowl crosses his face. One of my seals just activated, he mutters, rolling up his right sleeve. Akatsuki, Tsunade states, and Naruto nods slowly. Could be them, or it might be an accident, Naruto muses, channeling chakra into another seal. A long coat materializes from the seal, and Naruto slips it on. It's white with blue trim and a beaked hood. I'm hoping for the best, but I've learned to prepare for the worst, Naruto says, pulling the hood up to obscure his face. Do you need any of us to go with you? Hinata asks. Stand by for now. I'll send a clone if I need help, Naruto responds, forming a hand sign before vanishing in a flash of white light. Tsunagakuer. Naruto materializes in the office with a sigh. What's the situation, Tamari? He asks, seeing the blonde woman. Tamari has sandy blonde hair and 4 pigtails, teal-green eyes, and is dressed in a short-sleeved, black combat kimono with a red obi. Gaara's been taken by the Akatsuki, Tamari says, and Naruto clenches his fist. How long? Naruto asks. Just over a day and a half. Kankuro tried to go after him, but he was poisoned, Tamari replies. Naruto pulls down his hood, and a clone emerges. Go get Mercy and Sen, Naruto commands, and the clone vanishes. Why didn't you contact me sooner? Naruto asks as he walks toward Gaara's desk. I've been stuck dealing with the council since it happened. I've been trying to slip away, Temari says, flopping down on the sofa. Gaara's still alive. The dummy seal I placed over his new seal is still active. I'll bring him back, Naruto says, picking up a glove on the desk and taking a deep sniff. Another flash fills the room as Tsunade and Shizune appear with the clone, shocking Temari. Tsunade Sencho. Temari exclaims. Naruto tosses the glove back onto the desk. For now, refer to them as Mercy and Senior. I'll explain everything once I return, he says. We'll use Hench to stay under the radar, Tsunade says as both activate their transformations. Tsunade's blonde hair now reaches her ankles and is 2 shades darker, while her honey-colored eyes shift to a dark amethyst. Shizune's black hair turns ash-white and extends to mid-back, with golden eyes. All right, but Naruto, you should know the council sent for help from Konoha. A team should be on its way, Temari warns, and Naruto clicks his tongue. It won't matter, Naruto says, heading toward the window. I'll be back soon, he says before leaping out. All right, I'll lead you to Kankuro and the others who are injured, Temari says, and both nod. Do you know who poisoned him? Tsunade asks. Sasori of the Red Sand, Temari replies, and Shizune gasps. That could be a problem, Shizune says, but Tsunade scoffs. Unknown location. Gaara floats inside a blue bubble, chakra leaking from his mouth and eyes. Around him are 6 projections and 2 physical figures. One has long blonde hair tied in a high ponytail, covering the left side of his face. The other is a hunched figure with a mask covering the lower half of his face, but what binds them all together are the black cloaks adorned with red clouds. This is taking too damn long with all of us, one of the projections yells. He has slicked back silver hair and purple eyes, wearing the Akatsuki cloak. Shut up, Haiden, a gruff voice responds. A very tall man with pupil-less green eyes and red sclera, also masked, glares at him. I'd agree with Haiden. Kakuzu, the third voice comments in a monotone. He has Sherry-non eyes, black hair tied in a ponytail, and pronounced tear troughs. Itaki is right. The extraction should have been completed by now, states a man with purple, rippled patterned eyes. Is the Ichibai resisting pain? The lone woman of the group asks. She has short blue hair tied in a bun, amber eyes, lavender eyeshadow, and a labored piercing. We better hurry. Our clones are facing a team from Konoha, with Itaki's little brother, a man with blue skin and shark-like features warns. My foolish younger brother. Kisame, Itaki mutters. However, suddenly Gaara vanishes in a flash of white light. What the hell happened? Haiden shouts. Naruto lands in front of them, Gaara on his shoulder, and calmly says, I happened. Who the hell are you, and how did you get in here? Deidara demands. Naruto shifts Gaara slightly, glancing at Itaki as he replies with a smirk beneath his hood, I'm just a phantom. Don't you just love space-time ninjutsu? Naruto adds, and a clone appears beside him, passing Gaara off before the clone vanishes. You are only postponing the inevitable. We'll capture the one tail again, Pain states, his unblinking purple eyes cold. Naruto looks unfazed. Let me tell you now, it won't be as easy as last time. I bring a warning. The Jinchuriki Ki are under my protection. Haiden, Deidara, and Kisame laugh at this. You're amusing, stranger. But too bad, you're about to die, Deidara shouts, tossing a small clay bird. Naruto raises his hand, a shuriken coated with Raiden appearing, intercepting the bird midair. Sasori. Deidara, deal with him and retrieve the one tail, Pain commands, causing the projections to fade. Naruto stands motionless as Sasori's tail lashes and Deidara holds his lumps of clay. Time to show you why art is an explosion, Deidara announces. Naruto tilts his head, extends his left arm, and a blade shoots out from his sleeve. Don't underestimate him, idiot, Sasori growls. Deidara glances at Sasori, which proves fatal. In an instant, Naruto is in front of him, delivering a roundhouse kick that sends Deidara crashing into a rock wall. As Deidara's head hits the stone, Naruto follows up with a powerful right punch to the back of his head. The impact causes cracks to form across the rock and blood to pour from Deidara's ears, eyes, nose, and mouth. His lifeless body crumbles to the floor. Now that the nuisance is gone, we can talk, Naruto says, facing Sasori. Talk. Sasori responds tersely. Naruto retracts the blade and casually drags Deidara's corpse, dropping it in front of Sasori. We're alike, you and I. Both killers of nations, he remarks. I am the Phantom of the Flash. Like you, I've wiped out entire nations. The fact you haven't attacked yet shows you're smarter than your now-dead partner, Naruto adds, staring down at Deidara's body. Sasori pauses, considering the words. I see you're powerful. The way you bypassed the barrier, took the Kaze cage without trouble, and killed Deidara with ease. All right, talk. But first, what does art mean to you? Sasori asks. Naruto tilts his head, pondering. Art is fleeting, yet it can be eternal, depending on the perspective. I can accept that, Sasori says as his body suddenly bursts open. A figure emerges from the puppet shell, revealing a living puppet with grayish-brown eyes and short, mousy red hair, his face holding a dreamy expression. Interesting. You're a living puppet, aren't you? I can tell by that unblinking gaze, Naruto observes. I am true art, Sasori responds. Now, why did you help the Kaze cage? Naruto raises an eyebrow. I aim to break the wheel of the Jinchuriki key system. Sasori watches him intently. If that's your goal, why not join the Akatsuki? Naruto shakes his head. Your organization is no different from the shinobi villages. You seek to use the Jinchuriki key and, by extension, the Biju. I want to shatter that system. Too long have people with power used Jinchuriki key as tools, not as people. Interesting words, but what does this have to do with me? Sasori asks, intrigued. Naruto extends a hand toward him. I want you to help me destroy the wheel. I know I'm an unknown in this game, but I can offer some solid perks. Sasori watches him with suspicion. What perks? Your parents were killed by the White Fang, correct? I offer you the chance to add his son to your collection. I can even deliver Orochimaru to you, Naruto suggests. Sasori raises an eyebrow. Interesting offers, but the Akatsuki doesn't take kindly to traitors. Naruto chuckles darkly. They're number 2 on my list. I'll deal with them when the time is right. In the blink of an eye, Naruto appears behind Sasori, touching his shoulder. Please, consider my offer. I'd hate to destroy you. He blinks back to Deidara's body, picking it up. I'll take this one with me. I'll see you in 10 days, he says, vanishing as quickly as he appeared. Sasori stands still, his eyes narrowing. This ghost. He's powerful. He could be a fine addition to my collection, but he's dangerous, perhaps more so than Pain. Tsunagakuer. Temari stands at the gates, waiting for Naruto, while his clone has already brought Gaara back to Tsunade. Behind her are Team 7 and Taka. The members include Kakashi, Yamato, Ino, Sai, Suzuki, Suijutsu, and Yugo. Suzuki is now wearing a Jonin vest similar to Kakashi and Yamato, his outfit consisting of a light blue shirt with the Uchiha symbol on the sleeves, black cargo pants, shin guards, a light blue open front apron with red diamonds, and boots. Temari-san, was it wise to let these strangers save the Kaze cage and your brother? Yamato asks. Considering they saved my brothers without a second thought, unlike all of you, Temari responds sharply. Shut it. Suzuki-kun had to take down his brother, Ino argues, but Temari just huffs. Why are you still here, anyway? The mission's over because Gaara is safe, no thanks to Konoha. You were more focused on chasing missing Nin than protecting a cage, Temari retorts. Mama, we'd like to meet the one who saved Kazekage-sama, Kakashi says with a chuckle. A figure appears in the distance, walking towards them with something slung over his shoulder. Doesn't look that impressive, Suzuki comments, while Suijutsu laughs. Maybe I should slice him up, Suijutsu adds eagerly. Naruto comes into full view, his eyes narrowing under his hood. Had to be them, he thinks. Temari-san, has the Kaze cage woken yet? Naruto asks, approaching the gate. Not yet, Ghost, but Mercy and Sen are attending to him and Kankuro, Temari answers, but then notices the body Naruto is carrying. He takes off his hood, revealing Deidara's lifeless body slung over his shoulder. He was one of your attackers. Sasori managed to escape, for now, he says, his gaze meeting the Konoha group. Ghost. Yamato asks cautiously. My name is Ghost, but you can call me Menma, Naruto replies, eyeing them. I didn't see you on the way back. So, you ran away. Sasuke reaches for his sword with a glare. We don't run. We met Itachi Uchiha and Kisame Hoshigaki 2 missing nin. But they turned out to be clones, he explains. So what happened after that? You retreated instead of continuing after the Kaze cage. Naruto presses, his tone calm. Don't talk to Sasuke-kun like that. Ino shouts, and Naruto winces at the volume. So, what happened next? Naruto asks, looking for any blood stains. Kisame's clone mentioned someone else had taken the Kaze cage, so we pulled back, Kakashi responds. Naruto rubs his forehead in frustration but spots a familiar sword on Suijutsu's back. That's the Kubikuri Basho. Last I heard, it was in the hands of Zabuza Momokai, he comments. Suijutsu grins. I took it. Can you believe it? It was being used as a grave marker with some hunter mask. I broke it and claimed the sword. My goal is to collect all the 7 missed swords, he says, boasting. So Konoha defiles the dead, Naruto mutters. Here's a bit of advice: those who disrespect the dead end up joining them. You call yourself Ghost. Are you the ghost of the Flash? Sai asks, and the others gasp in surprise. Naruto rubs his eyes. Let's set that insult aside, Naruto says. I am Ghost, the ghost of spring, or ghost of the Flash. But call me Menma. Now, I'd like to collect my bounty on this one and check on Kazekage-sama, he says, walking past the group. Fight me, Sasuke demands, but Naruto keeps walking, shaking his head with a sigh. Temari begins to follow but pauses, turning back to the Konoha group. I'll send the payment to your Hokage for requesting the mission, but I want you all gone. If you push this further, you'll break our neutrality agreement. Now, leave, she says, her voice firm. We won't leave until I challenge the ghost of the Flash, Sasuke retorts, reaching for his sword, but Kakashi stops him. That's enough, Sasuke, Kakashi says, leaning in. Hokage-sama has invited him to Konoha. You can challenge him there, he whispers. Sasuke scoffs and turns away. Sasuke mutters as the group leaves. Temari watches them go, thinking to herself, how can the council be so foolish to send them? She catches up to Naruto, who's leaning against a pole, a lollipop in his mouth. What happened with the Akatsuki member? Temari asks. I had a clone take him to the bounty office, Naruto replies as they walk toward the hospital. A neutrality agreement? Gaara never mentioned it, Naruto observes. Yeah, Gaara wanted to break the alliance after seeing how Konoha treated you. But we were still recovering from the invasion, so we signed a neutrality and trade agreement. However, the council is still willing to placate Konoha for anything, Temari explains. How about a trade alliance with Spring? I could talk to Kyoki and have her persuade the Wind Daimyo, Naruto suggests as they reach Gaara's room. That would help a lot, Temari agrees, opening the door. Tsunade is there, going through a chart while Shizun tends to Gaara. Took you long enough, Menma, Tsunade remarks. Sorry, ran into some old faces Team 7 and Sasuke, who's now a Jonin, by the way, Naruto says, closing the door behind him. I thought he was with Orochimaru, Shizun says, surprised. Danzo might have called them back, but making that brat a Jonin, and now he's got his own band of misfits too. One of them took Zabuza's sword and smashed Haku's mask, Naruto says, tossing his lollipop aside with a crunch. Anyway, how's Catboy doing? Naruto asks, referring to Gaara. He's stable. I extracted the poison and made an antidote. I even impressed Cho. I told her we convinced me to train us, Tsunade explains. How long until he wakes up? Naruto asks. A few hours. Temari-san has booked a room at the Oasis Hotel for the time being, Shizun responds. Naruto gets up and stretches. Alright, I'm going for a soak. If Gaara wakes up, send a clone to let me know, he says, excusing himself. Naruto let out a contented sigh as he settled into the large hot spring, a tray of sake resting on a floating platform beside him. A towel was draped over his face, and his fox ears twitched in satisfaction, but the sound of water splashing caught his attention, prompting him to hide them. How did you manage to slip away? Naruto mused, taking a sip of his sake. A woman slipped into the water beside him, her head covered with a towel. He's a heavy sleeper, she replied. How are things after my little stunt? Naruto asked. Pain is not pleased. Sasori has gone rogue, and Zetsu confirmed Deidara's death, she explained. I may or may not have convinced Sasori to help me by tempting him with Kakashi and Orochimaru. We're meeting in 10 days at Tenchi Bridge in Grass Country, Naruto said, taking another swig of sake. Should I inform Pain? She asked, but Naruto shook his head. No. I can handle Sasori if it goes wrong. By the way, how are you feeling? He asked, eyes still closed. It's slowly getting better. I might take you up on your offer, she replied. If it worsens. Use my kunai, and I'll pull you out. Well, the other one defect if needed. Naruto asked, his eyes still shut. She's willing. Pain's actions are starting to concern her. Their vision is straying from the original goal, she replied. If she needs a push, let her know about Danzo and Jiraya's actions. She could be a powerful ally, Naruto said, feeling a soft kiss on his cheek. I'll do that. Goodbye, Menma-kun, she whispered. When Naruto opened his eyes, she was gone. Geez, she's like a bat, he muttered. Who's like a bat? Tsunade asked, stepping into the water, wrapped in a towel with her hair up. Naruto pushed the tray toward her. No one. Gaara awake? He asked, but Tsunade shook her head. Not yet. I just wanted to soak for a bit. I've been thinking about something. You said you wanted to destroy Konoha, but only those who follow Danzo. What if? Tsunade began. What if the whole of Konoha follows him? Naruto started, then sighed. Then they die. I'm no longer the naive fool you met back then. I've learned from Kurama's cynical view of the world. The people of Konoha are sheep. They hate me because of Kurama, yet they revere my father. The civilians think they know about shinobi matters, but they don't. You saw that in the council meetings. They insert themselves into matters they know nothing about, he added. Is that why Kyoki wants shinobi loyal only to her but working for the people in the shadows? Tsunade asked after a sip of sake. Exactly. A shinobi shouldn't serve two masters, but Konoha has pushed it too far. The previous Hokage would be heartbroken if they saw how Konoha has corrupted itself, and that includes you, Naruto said, and Tsunade scoffed. Preach it. Those fools wouldn't have allowed this if my grandfather or granduncle were alive. Hell, if Sensei were in his prime. Tsunade muttered. Naruto stood, and Tsunade's eyes lingered on the numerous tattoos of foxes, spirals, and flowers on his body, with the Chidori wound on his chest being the most prominent. I keep them as reminders to stay on my path, Naruto said, wrapping a towel around his waist, but Tsunade's eyes widened when she saw the word demon etched across his upper back in bleeding letters. I got this done. I usually keep it under a henge, he said, raising his arms in a pose. As I said, tell someone a lie long enough, and they'll start to believe it, Naruto added before a pair of arms wrapped around him from behind. I'm so sorry, Naruto, Tsunade whispered. You don't have to apologize to me, Tsunade. Let's go check on Gaara, and head home, Naruto said, and Tsunade nodded into his back. The pair dried off and got dressed before heading to the hospital. Gaara slowly woke, blinking at the white ceiling and the sterile scent of medical supplies. Kazekage-sama, a voice said, and Gaara turned to see Shizen. Who are you? Gaara asked, still groggy. My name is Sen, and I am an ally of Ghost, Shizen replied, and Gaara's eyes widened. The door opened, and Temari entered with Kankuro in a wheelchair. Gaara. Thank Kami, she said, and Gaara slowly sat up with a groan. I owe Ghost my life, he whispered. So do I for bringing mercy in Sen, Kankuro added, and Shizen handed him a cup of water, then did the same for Gaara. Where is he? Gaara asked. He should be back soon. He's eager to see you. It's a good thing Temari-san could use his kunai, Shizen said. Gaara, the council sent for a Konoha team, Temari added, and Gaara's eyes narrowed. But Ghost made it back before they arrived. I paid them off for the moment to keep the peace, she explained. The door opened again, and Naruto and Tsunade entered. Finally awake, Gaara. Naruto said. Thanks to you, Ghost, Gaara said, but Naruto waved his hand. You can call me by my real name now. You're among allies, Naruto said, placing his hand on the door. You can drop your henges, he added, shocking both Kankuro and Gaara as Tsunade and Shizen revealed themselves. Go Dame-sama! Gaara exclaimed, and Tsunade nodded slowly. Yes. Naruto faked our deaths to escape Konoha before Danzo Shimura led a coup, Tsunade explained. Gaara rubbed his chin thoughtfully, his eyes wide. This is shocking, to say the least, he said. True. When I saw him alive, I felt much the same, the leader comments, and their ally nods in agreement. Anyway, I heard about your neutral stance with the neighboring city-state, the young man says, and the other leader sighs deeply. We were in a tough spot, and we're still recovering from past mistakes. I'd prefer to tear up that agreement, the leader replies. You might just get that chance. I'll speak to the other leaders about forming a full trade alliance, giving you the freedom you seek, the young man offers, causing those present to look at him in surprise. You would do that? The leader asks, and the young man nods confidently. You're an ally and a friend, he responds. Shukaku wants to speak with you, the leader's companion suddenly announces, gripping their head. The young man smirks. Still upset with me? He asks before holding out his fist. The two exchange a brief bump, and soon they find themselves in a vast, mysterious space with a towering presence. Hello, Shukaku. What can I do for you? The young man asks, the towering figure leaning down. You may be the one that our ancestors envisioned, and the mark on your hand shows this. I wish to offer you some of my power. It will allow you to control magnetic forces, the figure explains. Can the others do this as well? The young man asks, intrigued. The figure nods, extending a paw. Yes, now touch it, the figure urges, and the young man reaches out. As his hand makes contact, a surge of energy floods his body. He grits his teeth against the pain, which soon subsides. Thank you, I'll use this power wisely, the young man says, and he opens his eyes as he returns to the present. Thanks, he says to his companion. Likewise, the companion replies. What happened? The leader inquires, and the young man grins. It's a Jinchuriki thing, he replies nonchalantly. Can we leave the hospital? The companion asks, and the leader considers for a moment. Yes, but your brother must remain here until tomorrow, the leader responds. We'll stay until then and send word back to the others, the young man confirms, and everyone nods in agreement. Thank you for saving my brothers, the ally bows deeply. It was nothing, the young man waves it off. You three are my friends, and I'll always be there for you. After exchanging goodbyes, the group prepares to leave, and they make their way back to the safe house. So what now? The ally asks, clearly concerned. Let them spread the word, the young man smirks. That's true, it keeps their focus elsewhere, the leader agrees. Upon reaching their destination, a small group of guards leads them into the meeting room, where the leader waits at his desk. The others are seated nearby. Morning, the young man greets as he enters the room. Morning, the leader replies. The young man sits down, and the others take their places as well. Where do you want me to begin? He asks. The death of the previous leader, the other replies, extending a hand. The young man places a lollipop in his hand and begins. I came to the city to scout things out. People hated my existence and seemed pleased that I was no longer around, he starts. The current leaders repealed laws meant to keep things in order, but they failed. The older generations instilled a deep-seated hatred in their children, the leader comments. Indeed. My supposed allies and comrades turned their backs on me, whether through ignorance, laziness, or simple hatred, the young man continues. I spent a few days observing and setting up before going to see the leader. She told me who was still loyal, and I gathered them all except a few. I used a technique to get them out safely and set up some explosive traps for the rest, he explains. Later, I left another clone behind to deal with the aftermath and learned that the new leader had quickly taken control. I then took everyone to my homeland and transferred some of my energy to them, making them stronger than before, the young man explains. Can they transform like you? One of the allies asks. Not exactly. They gain strength and durability, but they're not able to fully transform like I can, the young man explains, accepting a glass of water. So, what's next? Both the rogue organization and the city-state will have their eyes on you, the leader warns. My goal is to break the old systems that use people like us as tools. I want to make sure no one else is exploited like I was, the young man states with firm resolve. IWA and Kumo won't stand by quietly. The leaders there are old-fashioned and power-driven, the ally warns. I know it won't be easy, but this is something I must do, the young man replies, his determination clear. There's change happening here too. I've opened an academy to help the less fortunate, and I've seen some promising individuals, the leader shares. Good. The older generation is still stuck in their ways, but things will improve, the young man acknowledges, rising from his seat. Take care, and if you need me, I'll be there in an instant, he says, accepting a scroll from the leader. Take this scroll, it will help with your training, the leader says, handing it over. The young man nods, then vanishes with his companions in a flash of light. As the leader sits back down, he reflects, the world is changing, and we must stay ahead of it. Danzo stared at Kakashi's report, his eyes narrowing as he took in the details of the failed mission to save the Kaze cage. He managed to rescue the Kaze cage and eliminate an S-rank rogue ninja effortlessly, he muttered, tossing the report aside. Across from him, Jiraiya picked up the document. This proves his S-rank status. Spring has certainly found a rare gem among the rebel, he remarked. Indeed, Danzo replied. Suzuki has expressed a desire to confront this ghost. I have no doubt about the Uchiha's strength, but rushing into battle with someone we know so little about is concerning, Jiraiya responded. It seems the Spring Daimyo was correct when they said he wasn't within the country, Danzo observed, and Jiraiya nodded in agreement. This actress may use this to her advantage, seeking alliances with other nations, Danzo added. She's quite the actress. I would love for her to star in an Ika film, Jiraiya mused, but Danzo shook his head. We need to bring this ghost into our fold. I want you to go to Spring and persuade him to come to Konoha, Danzo ordered. Jiraiya nodded and made his way to the window, preparing to leave. Just then, a knock echoed through the room. The door opened to reveal Ino. Hokage-sama, she greeted. What is it, Yamanaka? Danzo asked, his tone neutral. Ino closed the door behind her and stood at attention. Did Kakashi-sensei update you on my findings? She inquired. He did. 2 medical ninjas on par with the former Godame and her apprentices. Danzo inquired, his eyebrow raised. Ino nodded. The one called Mercy claimed she tricked the traitor into teaching her and Sen, Ino explained. And you believe Tsunade could have taught others? Danzo mused, and Ino affirmed. I will look into it, he said with a nod. Thank you, Hokage-sama, Ino said, excusing herself as she left. Danzo stood from his seat and walked to the window, his thoughts drifting. Ghost may have met these two. What other secrets does this ghost hold? Spring Country. Naruto sat on the roof of his home, legs folded in a seiza position, while numerous clones sifted through the scroll Gaara had given him. Beside him, Hinata mirrored his stance. Meanwhile, Sum and Hana were out with their ninkin, and Yojeo practiced her sword katas. Tsunade and the others were in another room, discussing the potential candidates for their mercenary group. Naruto-kun, would you like any of us to accompany you to Grass Country? Hinata asked gently. Naruto opened his eyes and rubbed his head as a few clones dispelled. I don't trust Sasori, but I need him. He's a tool I can use, Naruto responded, sitting up. Means to an end? Hinata asked, her brow furrowed. Yes. Sasori can help further my goals and be an asset to our small group, he explained before lying back down, staring at the sky. I see why Shikamaru likes to gaze at the clouds, he mused. Hinata frowned as she rested her head on his stomach. He betrayed you, Naruto-kun. It was inevitable, Naruto said, his voice flat. Shikamaru's clever, but he's lazy. It's easier for him to go along with the flow than to stand out. Koji's just a gullible fool. Shino will do what makes sense, despite the Abarame's marginalization. Niji reverted back to his fate speech when he thought you were dead. Once he learned the truth, he believed fate was correcting his loss to you. Kiba's been trying to get close to me, but Samsama and Hana-san have been stopping him. Their clan is fragmenting because of it, Hinata added, her voice tinged with irritation. Naruto growled softly. Tenten follows Niji like a lost puppy. Lee's a hypocrite. You brought Tsunade-sama back to Konoha to be Hokage and saved him, yet the moment he learns the truth, he turns his back on you, she said with a hiss. Naruto chuckled softly, flicking Hineda's nose. Don't worry about them, HAREM. We'll deal with them when the time comes. Oi, Kyoki. We're back. Anko's voice rang out. The pair jumped to their feet and followed Anko inside, where the others were waiting in the living room. If Tsunade hasn't told you already, I'm heading to Grass Country to meet missing Nin Sasori of the Red Sand, Naruto began. Is that wise? Sakura asked. He's partially responsible for taking the Kaze cage. While that's true, Sasori's a means to an end. I'll use him to lure out Zetsu. If that fails, I'll just eliminate him and move on to another plan. Simple as that, Naruto explained. And if Sasori cooperates and lures out Zetsu? Hana asked, stroking one of her triplets. Then Sasori will join us as a member of Kuroe Ui, Naruto said, causing several confused looks. Kuroe Ui, or Black Sunset, is our answer to Akatsuki. We'll be mercenaries, similar to them taking bounties and building a reputation, he clarified. Interesting. It will give us notoriety in a way to enter places like Konoha under the guise of bounty hunters, Tsunade said thoughtfully. Exactly. Konoha's already interested in meeting me. Sasuke will no doubt complain to Danzo and push the issue, Naruto replied, a smirk playing on his lips. Ino, too. She was being quite nosy when we were healing Kankuro and the Kaze cage. Tsunade cooked up the story that we sought her out and tricked her into teaching us, Shizune explained. I'm sure this will give that mummy a shock. 2 medical ninjas on the same level as the Slug Princess? He'll be second-guessing everything about our ghost, Anko says, her tone laced with confidence. Let's hope so. Much like the Akatsuki, we'll be operating in teams. Our medical team will consist of Tsunade, Sakura, and Shizune. The torture and interrogation strike team will be Anko, Yojeo, and Hineda. Our tracking team will be Tsum and Hana. As for me, I'll be working solo, but these teams aren't permanent. They can change depending on the mission, Naruto explains, and several nods of agreement follow. So, how was it with Tsunade and Shizune? Some suddenly asks, catching everyone off guard. He can perform like a pro, Tsunade quips, causing Naruto to rub his face in embarrassment. Anko bursts into laughter, clearly enjoying herself. You're all the same, Anko teases, licking her lips. Mama approves. Naruto sighs, thinking about sealing his bedroom door permanently for some peace of mind. Meanwhile, in the rain-soaked domain of AIM, Devapane stands at the top of his tower, surveying the city below. His piercing gaze never wavers, focused on his goal. A familiar sound of footsteps catches his attention, and he turns to face Konan. Has Sasori been located? Devapane asks, his voice cold. No. Sasori has gone off the radar, Konan replies, her expression grim. And Deidara's ring? Devapane presses, his mind working quickly. Zetsu infiltrated Suna and managed to retrieve the ring, but security is still tight from the recent attack, Konan reports. The mention of their failure to capture the Ichibai makes Devapane's expression darken. And this ghost? He inquires. He's listed in the bingo book. His origins remain a mystery, but reports from Zetsu and Sasori say he appeared in spring, rescuing the country from genocide caused by the Land of Sky. IWA called him the Ghost of the Flash, while the people referred to him as the Ghost of Spring. His clones in incredible speed resemble the Kiroi Senko, and he wielded a pitch-black sword with enough strength to sink the floating island, Konan explains. I see. His attempts to stop us from capturing the Biju are laughable. This ghost won't stand in our way of achieving peace, Devapane asserts. His mindset is similar to ours. He wants to protect the people, even from their own nations, Konan adds thoughtfully. That doesn't matter. He is a threat to our vision of peace. As God, I cannot allow him to exist, Devapane says, determination in his voice. He turns to Konan. Contact Zetsu and have him find and eliminate Sasori, he orders. What if he encounters the ghost? Konan asks cautiously. Then he will deal with him as well. Let the others know to stay vigilant for this ghost and eliminate him if the chance presents itself, Devapane commands. Konan bows and exits, but as she walks away, a thought crosses her mind. Nagato. You're changing too much. Yahiko would be horrified to see you now, she reflects inwardly. In Spring Country, Naruto heads to the kitchen for breakfast, where Hinata and Tsunade are preparing food. They greet him warmly as he takes a seat at the table. Good morning, Naruto. Naruto-kan, both women say in unison. Naruto waves in response. Anko won't be joining us today, Naruto mentions, and Tsunade places a glass of orange juice in front of him with a knowing look. So, that makes 4 now, she says, her tone teasing. I accidentally forgot to seal my room, and she slipped in, Naruto admits, face palming. Anko finally got to you, huh? Some says as she walks in, a grin on her face. Hell, at this point, I might as well ask you to turn me too. Naruto rubs his forehead in exasperation as the others begin to enter, muttering under his breath, please, don't. You didn't force Anko, did you? Sakura asks, narrowing her eyes. It was the other way around. She snuck into my room, and, well, they took advantage of me, Naruto defends himself, but some laughs. Anko's been waiting for you to slip up. Ha ha ha. So today's the day, huh? Hana asks, and Naruto nods, stuffing some sausage into his mouth. I sent out some clones yesterday to scout a spot for a high-ration jump. Sasori didn't give a specific time, only saying noon, Naruto explains. Naruto-kun, you should really take someone with you, Hinata suggests, her concern evident. I'll be fine, Naruto reassures her, giving her a small smile. And if Sasori turns out to be tricky? Tsunade asks, raising an eyebrow. Naruto mimics the motion of cutting a throat with his finger. I'll handle it, he says, and the group finishes their breakfast, splitting up to begin their routines. Naruto throws his coat on the bed, then changes into his gear, mesh shirt, black cargo pants, dark blue, skin-tight shirt, and gloves with metal guards. He pulls his mask up, preparing for the day ahead. Naruto-kun, Hinata calls out, and Naruto turns, grabbing his coat. I need a favor, Can you set up a paralysis barrier in the courtyard? Naruto asks. For Sasori? Hinata asks. Naruto nods while slipping on his coat. Yeah. He still can't be trusted, even if he's working with us, he adds, retracting a hidden blade that shot out from his arm. Hinata follows him outside to the courtyard. As she sets up the barrier, Naruto places a high-ration mark. Just set it up around here. I'll be back shortly, Naruto says before vanishing. Hinata heads back inside to grab her Fuinjutsu supplies, informing the others about Naruto's plan. Tenchi Bridge. Sasori walks toward his target but stops when he sees Naruto standing by a tree, arms folded. You're punctual. Good. I can't stand waiting, Sasori says as Naruto steps up to him. I value being on time. Tardiness is a weakness, Naruto comments, recalling his former sensei. Unbeknownst to Sasori, Naruto has sent clones ahead to search for a particular presence. Has the Akatsuki started looking for you? Naruto asks. Sasori scoffs, his tail flicking. I've stayed under the radar so far, but I doubt Zetsu has been idle. He'll come looking, he replies. Zetsu? Naruto asks, pretending not to know. He's the Akatsuki's spy keeping tabs on me, Sasori says. The two reach the bridge, but Naruto hangs back behind a tree, closing his eyes and sharpening his senses. A cloaked figure slowly approaches the bridge, and Naruto smiles, vanishing in a white flash. He leaves a clone behind as he travels a mile away. There, Naruto spots something unusual, what appears to be a giant Venus flytrap wearing a black cloak adorned with red clouds. The plant-like creature opens to reveal a person with a split black and white body. When do we strike? Sasori and his companion. The white half asks. Soon, but his companion is strange. It's the one who killed Deidara, the black side replies. So they're working together. Sasori has betrayed the Akatsuki, the white side says. Black's eyes narrow before a dark sword suddenly erupts from their body. Found you, a voice hisses. What? What is this? The white half exclaims. Naruto steps forward, an amused smile under his hood. This is Zanjutsu. Zetsu-san, he says, facing the pair. Zetsu tries to sink into the ground, but Naruto laughs. Don't bother. I've set up a barrier around us. You can't run now. The ghost of spring. The black half says, and Naruto nods. I am, Naruto confirms. So, you were watching from the shadows, like the coward you are. Zetsu attempts to move, but kanji starts to spread from the sword and onto their bodies. What is this? The black half hisses. Old man Hagoromo left this sword and another to his son Ashura, with very specific instructions on their purpose. Naruto begins, removing his hood. Hagoromo. How do you know that name? The black half demands. Naruto reaches for his right glove. Well, I'm one of 9, but I'm also part of a pair, he says, revealing his son Mark. Impossible. Ashura's reincarnation, the white half says, shocked. Naruto grins. The very same. Naruto is Umaki Namikaze, at your service. Oh, and I'm also the new Kyuubi no Yoko, Naruto says, revealing his 9 tails. So, you've been hiding these last 2.5 years. No matter, Madara's will shall be done, the black half declares. Stop lying, Black Zetsu, Naruto counters. Today is your end. Your mother will stay sealed. A brief pause follows before Naruto adds, I've figured you out, Black. You've been pulling the strings behind every conflict. You've shaped the world into a cycle of hate and war, all in an attempt to revive Kaguya. Mother deserves to live. You're nothing but pawns to bring her back. Black Zetsu shouts. You're just a child, whining for his mother, Naruto snaps. You've twisted the world for centuries in pursuit of her, but it ends today. I will break that cycle. With that, Naruto raises his arms, a Rasengan forming in one hand, flames swirling around it. A second Rasengan, formed of wind, begins to take shape in his other hand. You're nothing compared to Kaguya's will. You're just a brat trying to stop me. Black Zetsu roars. He doesn't seem to care, the white half mutters as they struggle to free themselves. Naruto brings the 2 Rasengans together. The shinobi world was built on the lives and deaths of countless people. This Rasengan will obliterate you, and Zanjutsu will destroy everything tied to you, he says. Old man Hagoromo foresaw your existence and took precautions. Zanjutsu and Tensei Zanjutsu were forged for one reason: to disrupt and poison your chakra. For the first time in its existence, Black Zetsu feels fear. No. I won't be erased. Mother, help me. He cries out. This is the end, Zetsu, Naruto declares, his voice firm. The sun will rise, and your shadow will be vanquished. With a mighty shout, Naruto unleashes his combined Rasengan. Rising Sun Rasengan. A thunderous explosion of flames and wind engulfs Zetsu, erasing them from existence. Mother. Mother. Moth. Black shouts, as he is wiped from existence, along with White Zetsu. In various hidden locations, clones of White Zetsu begin to deteriorate, their life force gone with the destruction of their brain. Naruto watches the massive crater with a focused gaze. Hopefully, this is the end of Zetsu, but caution is always necessary, he muses, activating a seal on his left hand and pulling it. Slowly, another black sword with a spiraled hilt and curved blade emerges, the 3 prongs along the blunt end sharp and menacing. I still have Tensei Zanjutsu in case it's needed, Naruto thinks, vanishing in a flash of white light. He reappears near the bridge, deflecting Sasori's spiked tail with Tensei. Any issues? Naruto asks coolly. Orochimaru has returned to Konoha, and Oto is now a protectorate under his control, Sasori replies. Naruto contemplates, tapping his chin thoughtfully. That's interesting, he says. So, have you made your decision? Sasori opens his Hirako puppet. I'll assist you, but in exchange for Kakashi Hatake and Orochimaru, he offers, extending his hand. Naruto grasps it firmly. Then it's a deal. Let's move forward, he replies. Sasori seals away his Hirako puppet, and Naruto places a hand on his shoulder before they disappear without leaving a trace. Spring. Naruto and Sasori arrive at Naruto's compound courtyard, but Sasori suddenly halts, as his body becomes rigid. What is this? G-Ghost. Sasori stammers. Naruto turns, pulling back his hood with a sly grin. I just realized something. I don't need you anymore, because I already have my prize, he says. Sasori's eyes narrow, his suspicion rising. What prize? Sasori asks. I took down Zetsu. You were just bait to lure him out, Naruto replies, watching as Sasori's expression shifts to one of realization. You used me, Sasori hisses, his voice filled with betrayal. Just then, Hinata and the others step into the courtyard. Naruto pulls his mask down with a calm nod. Yes, I did. I could have used Deidara as well. If Zetsu hadn't shown up, I would have killed the bait and found another way to lure him out, he states matter-of-factly. Those markings on your cheeks. You're the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Sasori remarks. Naruto scratches his ear, nodding. Well, you're half right. I'm no longer a Jinchuriki, but I am the Kyuubi, he says, revealing his tails and ears. You've become far more cunning and ruthless. No longer the loud, reckless fool who'd be easily deceived, Sasori admits, a grudging respect in his tone. I appreciate the compliment. With Zetsu gone and you soon to be gone, Akatsuki's spy network is in ruins, Naruto says, his fist tightening as a blade shoots from his wrist. I've been checkmated by a brat. One last request, Uzumaki. Take my body to my grandmother and kill Orochimaru, Sasori requests, his voice softening with resignation. Naruto approaches, placing a hand on his shoulder. Consider it done, he affirms, driving his blade into Sasori's life source. The infamous Suna-robe ninja crumples, his puppet-like form losing all purpose. Naruto stands over him, coldly assessing the situation. All right, Hinata, you can release it, he commands. Hinata lowers her hands, dispelling the barrier, allowing Naruto to move freely. Success. Zetsu's dead, and Akatsuki has taken a heavy blow, Naruto murmurs, kneeling to lift Sasori's lifeless body. But the infinite Tsukuyomi remains a threat, he adds, heading toward the dojo, with everyone following close behind. Infinite Tsukuyomi? Tsunade asks, confused. It's Kagaya Satsuki's dark plan, a worldwide genjutsu designed to trap all of humanity in an eternal dream and drain their chakra to fuel the Shinju, Naruto explains, leaving everyone stunned. How is something like that even possible? Anko questions, her voice tinged with disbelief. Hana opens the dojo door, and Naruto carefully sets Sasori's body on the ground. The Biju were once a single being known as the Jubi. Zetsu has been orchestrating events to bring back the Jubi and awaken Kagaya, he states, examining Sasori's body closely. With Zetsu dead, it shouldn't be possible now, right? Hana asks. Naruto shakes his head. The man who attacked my parents said he'd remake the world in his image. This Uchiha could still attempt the infinite Tsukuyomi. That's why it's crucial to protect the Bijo, he explains. Sakura, Tsunade, Shizune, Anko, set up a barrier. This place could be rigged with poison, Naruto orders. The four women take their positions, forming a perimeter around the dojo. Ninpo, four flames jutsu. They chant in unison. Hinata activates her Byakugan, scanning for any traps as Naruto searches for seals. Any traps? He asks. Nothing so far, Hinata reports. Be cautious. Sasori is Cho's grandson. He might have some unexpected poisons hidden, Tsunade warns. He doesn't even look human anymore, just a puppet, some comments from outside the barrier. Naruto nods. He specializes in creating human puppets. I offered him Kakashi and Orochimaru to get him to drop his guard, he says, finding a third scroll mark. As he opens it, smoke billows out, and a puppet with dark blue hair and yellow eyes emerges, dressed in a maroon cloak. That's the third Kazekage. He went missing a long time ago, Tsunade observes. Naruto studies the puppet carefully, noting that black sand begins to seep from the body and pool on the ground. Intriguing. Seems Sasori equipped him with his signature iron sand, Tsunade observes. Naruto tilts his head in contemplation before channeling chakra from Shukaku, causing the sand to move, much to the surprise of the others. This will be beneficial, Naruto comments, holding a large orb of iron sand. How are you even doing that? Anko asks, and Naruto smirks. Shukaku, the Ichibai, gave me some of his chakra. It's likely because of my Yang Six Paths power, Naruto explains, sealing the sand into an empty scroll. Can you do this with the other Biju? Yojao inquires. Probably, but I'd have to communicate with them. Some might be cautious, Naruto replies, as he begins sealing Sasori into a stasis scroll, but pauses to hold up a peculiar ring. Why would they be cautious? You're helping them, Sakura says as they lower the barrier. Remember, the Yonbai and Goba blame me for Kurama's death, and I've only met Madatabi, the Nibi, and Yujito, Naruto responds. So, what now, Naruto-kun? Should we return Sasori to Suna? Hinata asks, and Naruto nods. Yeah. Word of their deaths will spread through Akatsuki. I'll take Sasori back to Suna and then head to Fire Capital to meet with my contacts, Naruto explains, pocketing the ring. Have you ever considered asking the daimyo for help? He could pressure Konoha if necessary, Shizen suggests, but Tsunade shakes her head. The daimyo was complicit in the fall of Uzushio. Chiji found this out after obtaining a journal from the last Uzukage. The daimyo mentioned it after I was born, Naruto shares. So, if you became Danzo's tool, you would unlock all the secrets of Uzushio and your father's compound, Hana observes. You got it. Now, who wants to come with me to Suna and the capital? Naruto asks. I'm going. I've been bored here, Sakura declares. I would like to go too, Naruto-kun, Hinata says. Alright, but we'll need to do something about your eyes, Naruto says, and Hinata waves her hand dismissively. Alright, I'd like the rest of you to help with the bounties. Put the name Black Sunset out there. Dojima has special cloaks made, Naruto instructs, and everyone nods in agreement. He heads out of the dojo and settles into one of the larger trees. Kurama, step 1 is finished. This should draw out Madara or his imposter, he thinks. Flashback. Naruto struggles to move through knee-high water, his body racked with Jiraiya's seals. Over here, boy, Kurama calls out. Naruto stumbles his way to the cage as Kurama watches him. Boy, be thankful for what I'm about to do, Kurama states. Thankful. Ero Sennin betrayed me. He's going to turn me over to Danzo, Naruto yells. That mummy and worthless toad won't get you. I've put a lot of distance between us. Now listen. I've started a forbidden jutsu on you, Kurama says, and Naruto's eyes widen. This jutsu was given to us Biju by my father, the Sage of Six Paths. He said it should only be used to save a truly innocent soul, Kurama continues, cracks appearing on the gate. What? Why? Naruto shouts. You are a truly innocent soul. You should never have suffered the way you did, Kurama replies, grinning. So be grateful for this, Naruto, and make sure you kill Madara for me, he adds, erupting with red light. Naruto cries out in pain as his body is flooded with chakra, but before he collapses, two voices call his name. End flashback. Naruto rubs his eyes and looks down at Sakura and Hinata, who are staring up at him with concern. He jumps down with a sigh. Sorry, I was lost in thought, he says. We were calling you for 5 minutes, Sakura says, folding her arms, her hair now cut in a pixie style. Naruto notices a cloth in Hinata's hand. It's for my eyes. I'll still be able to see, she says, wrapping her eyes. All right. We'll reach River City and head to Tsunagaku or from there. I don't want to just barge into Gaara's office unannounced, Naruto says, and the two nod. He places his hands on their shoulders and shakes his head. Let's go, he says, and the trio vanish. XXX. In the vast dunes of the Land of Wind, a horse-sized black fox with two white tails strides through the sands, carrying Sakura and Hinata, both wearing full masks. You can even make a fox this size? Sakura asks. Yeah, I can even make it as small as Haru, Naruto replies. An hour later, they reach the ray of sky and the entrance to Tsunagaku, where Naruto dispels his fox form a few meters away. Halt, state your business, a Jonin commands. Naruto lowers his mask but uses a transformation jutsu on his face. I am the shinobi hunter Menma. I have a bounty for Kaze Cage Gaara's eyes only, he says. All right, but your companions must remove their masks, the Jonin insists. Hinata and Sakura comply, but the Jonin frowns at the black cloth. My eyes are sensitive to light, Hinata explains. All right, follow the path, but Umbu will be watching, the Jonin says. The trio proceeds into the village with silent escorts on the rooftops. You saved Gaara, but you're still treated like an outsider, Sakura remarks. It's fine, Cherry. I'm meant to be a ghost, Naruto replies, but notices the heightened alertness in the air. Still on high alert? Hinata asks, and Naruto slowly nods. They reach the Kaze Cage Tower, and their guards break off to return to their posts. Is Gaara-sama in? Naruto asks as they approach his office. The secretary nods and buzzes the men, causing Gaara to look up from his desk as Naruto and his companions enter. Back already, Ghost, and with 2 new companions. Do you have something to tell me? Gaara asks, and Naruto rubs the back of his head. This is Cherry and Cinnamon. They're part of my mercenary group, Kuroi Ui, Naruto says, pulling out a pair of scrolls. Same group as Sen and Mercy from the Snow Country. Gaara asks, and Naruto nods. The very same. I have a surprise for you. Sasori of the red sand and the puppet body of the Sandaime Kaze cage, Naruto says, and Gaara's eyes widen as he takes the pair of scrolls. I found him in the grass country meeting with the contact, but the contact escaped during the battle. He was a skilled opponent and a master of the human puppet. His Sandaime can control iron sand, Naruto explains, shocking Gaara. Did he say anything? Gaara asks. Just that his body should be returned to his grandmother, Cho, Naruto replies. Gaara stares at the scrolls for a moment before rising from his seat and handing Naruto another scroll. This is a proposal for an alliance with the Spring Country. I've kept it from the council to keep Konoha in the dark for now, Gaara explains. Understood. I'll send it to Kyoki-sama on my way to the fire capital, Naruto says. Gaara quirks an eyebrow. Just deposit Sasori's bounty into my account, Naruto adds. You don't make things boring, Gaara remarks, and Naruto flashes a foxy grin before excusing themselves. Naruto pulls his mask back on with a sigh. Now, we'll flash there, he says. The 3 exit Tsuno without any issue, and Naruto grasps their shoulders before Flash stepping away and using the HAREM to transport them to the Fire Country. Fire Capital. Sakura and Hinata gasp as they find themselves standing in a warehouse. Where are we? Sakura asks. Naruto removes his coat and lowers his mask. It's a warehouse I own. Actually, I own several across different nations, he says. A way to HAREM around, Hinata comments, removing her cloth. Naruto slowly nods and unseals a large crate filled with fruit. See? A normal storage facility, he says, resettling the crate. So, who's your contact? Sakura asks as Naruto seals his assassin coat and takes out a gray coat. Madam Yumi, Naruto replies. Sakura gapes as they follow him out of the warehouse. Why Yumi-san? Hinata asks. It's simple, really. People talk during and after sex. Yumi uses her brothel as an information hub. Many high-ranking people pass through Heavenly Moon, Naruto explains. So, like gaining info in a bar or club, people get less guarded and talk, Sakura observes, and Naruto nods. Got it in one. Yumi taught me a few things, and I asked her to keep her ear to the ground for me. Of course, at a price, Naruto says. The trio makes their way through the town and enters Heavenly Moon within the red light district. Many women spot Naruto and begin flocking toward him. Menmakun's back already. Oh, Menmakun, join us. Several women call out. Leave him alone, girls. Can't you see the glares from his 2 companions? A voice says. Sakura and Hinata see a slender yet voluptuous woman with white hair pinned in a bun, light brown eyes, and a small beauty mark under her left lip. She's wearing a low-cut red kimono that hangs loosely over her arms, exposing her décolletage, with blue eyeshadow, green lipstick, and matching nails. Hi, Madam Yumi, the woman says. Yumi slaps her fan against her wrist, looking amused. So, what brings you here today with 2 beautiful women? She asks. Can we talk in private? Naruto states, and Yumi nods, beckoning them to follow. Ino and Hinata quietly follow Naruto as Yumi leads them to a private VIP room. Would you girls like to bathe? Yumi asks as she slides open a door, but both decline. Yumi sits on a large cushion next to a low table, and Naruto takes a seat across from her. Sakura and Hinata sit on the cushions next to him as Naruto picks up the kisiro on the table. How are things at the palace? He asks, getting straight to the point. Yumi's eyes turn serious as she claps her hands, activating the seal Naruto placed. His nephew frequents us. He drinks, whines, and messes around. His son, on the other hand, is more loose-lipped. He complains about his father not getting something, but never goes into specifics, Yumi explains, taking a cup of sake from Naruto. Did he say what? Sakura asks, and Yumi looks at Naruto, who nods. Something they've been waiting for years. The daimyo keeps it close to his chest, Yumi replies. More than likely, Uzushio's riches, Naruto thinks, puffing on his kisiro. You should also know that the toad visited last week, Yumi asks, taking a puff from her kisiro. Naruto taps his ashes with a sigh, releasing a plume of smoke. Not surprising. No sensible woman would go near him unless she's being compensated handsomely, he says, and Yumi chuckles. Exactly, his usual antics. But he did mention something interesting. He's heading north to the snow country to persuade the former actress, Yoki Fujikaze, now the daimyo Koyoki Kazuhana, to star in his Ika Ika Paradise movie, Yumi states. Naruto shakes his head with a sigh. He never stops annoying me, he thinks. Anything else of importance? Naruto asks. Yumi takes another puff of her kisiro. It's been quiet, but rumors are spreading that the last Uchiha has returned to Konoha. After the death of the fifth Hokage and several others, but there's still no clear information, she says, causing both girls to scowl. Naruto reaches into his coat and pulls out an envelope of money. Thanks, Yumi, he says, clapping his hands and lifting the barrier. Not a problem, Menma-kun. Well, you stay for a while. Yumi says, rising to her feet and slipping the envelope between her breasts. Sure, bring us a full-course meal and some sake, Naruto says, settling into Yumi's spot on the cushion. Yumi excuses herself with a smile as Sakura and Hinata sit next to him. More of the same and a bit more information, Sakura says. Is there anyone decent in the daimyo's family? Hinata asks. Maybe his wife, but Tora has shown otherwise, Naruto muses, and both laugh. The fact that Konoha is saying Sasuke is back is intriguing, Naruto says, setting his kisira down. I bet he's using that to get whatever he wants. I can't believe I ever had a crush on him. I thought he was so tragic, losing his family, Sakura says, her expression a bit sullen. Naruto reaches out to gently trace her cheek. We were just kids. Sasuke was strong, and the pride of Konoha, he says. The door slides open as Yumi returns with several women carrying trays. Anything else, Menma-kun? Some girls. Yumi asks. Not right now. Thanks, Yumi, Naruto says. Yumi bows and excuses herself. Naruto pours himself a drink. Let's forget certain things and enjoy the moment. Kanpai, he says, toasting with Sakura and Hinata. About an hour later, Naruto sips his sake as Sakura nips at his neck, her face flushed. Hinata, wrapped in his coat, giggles softly, muttering, hee. I smell like Naruto-kun. Narubaka, let's play, Sakura says, kissing his neck and blowing into his ear. The scent of sex lingers here. I need release. Tsunade-sama once told me that when she mated with you, all the instability she felt disappeared, Sakura says, settling atop him. Besides, Naru-kun. Don't you want to make love to your Sakura-chan? Sakura coos, nibbling at his neck. Some time later. Naruto stares at the ceiling with a sigh. Is this going to be a recurring thing every time I'm with them? He thinks, his gaze on the pink-haired girl resting on his chest and the blue-haired girl on his right arm. Naruto makes a clone and swaps places, grabbing a robe and slipping it on. He steps out of the room but is immediately met by one of the girls. Menma-san, is there anything you need? She asks. Nothing at the moment, Naruto replies, heading toward the bath. After cleaning up, Naruto returns to his room to find both girls still cuddled with his clone. Tell them I'm heading out, Naruto says, getting dressed but leaving his shirt off as he puts on his coat. He slips out the window and leaps to the roof, taking a seat as the cool night air brushes against his bare chest. A small movement brushes his leg, and Naruto looks down to see a tiny jumping spider. Hello, Lucas, he says. Hello. Mama is here, Lucas replies. Naruto glances up to see a tall woman with flawless, pale skin, almost porcelain-like. Her curvy figure is accentuated by her long black hair, styled upwards with two long strands framing her face. Her eyes are completely gray, with a spiderweb-like pattern in the irises. She wears a long black sleeveless dress that covers her feet, with 8 trailing pieces of fabric resembling spider legs. A narrow black band encircles her neck, with a small spider emblem at the front and 8 extensions protruding from the back. "Hello, Arachne," Naruto says, letting Lucas climb onto his shoulder. Arachne opens her black fan. "You know I like to stretch my legs from time to time," she says. "So, anything Yumi missed?" Naruto asks. "Other than that loathsome pervert. Those pathetic little releases. He should arrive in spring, in about a week. I've got some little ones keeping an eye on him," Arachne says, and Naruto snorts at her joke. "Good. Can your little ones sneak into the Namikaze and Senju estates?" Naruto asks. "I can," Lucas replies, and Arachne laughs. "I know you can, dear." "I can, and amen-makan," Arachne says, catching herself. "Thank you, Arachne-sama," Naruto says, letting Lucas down, and both vanish in a puff of smoke. "Who was that, Menmakun?" Hinata asks, standing with Sakura. Naruto gets to his feet and stretches. "Arachne. The boss summon of the Spider Clan," he replies. "I thought you summoned toads," Sakura asks, and Naruto snorts, rubbing his head. "I did, but when I technically flatlined, my name was crossed out, despite coming back. The toads betrayed me in a roundabout way," Naruto explains, shocking both. "The great toad sage told Jiraiya a prophecy about a student he would train, who would cause a great upheaval in the shinobi system," Naruto begins, looking up. "In his infinite wisdom, he decided to hijack this prophecy and twist it for Konoha's benefit, and they unknowingly went along with it," Naruto finishes. "So Jiraiya went to the third Hokage?" Sakura asks, and Naruto nods. "Yep, but Jiji brushed it off, so Jiraiya turned to Danzo, trying to steer things his way. He tried with my father, trying to mold him to Danzo's thinking, but my mother was there and stopped him from getting his hooks into him," Naruto explains. "So, when your parents died, they had a clean slate with you to mold you, condition you into their weapon," Sakura says. "Once Jiraiya arrives in spring, I plan on revealing myself to him," Naruto states. "Why reveal yourself?" Hinata asks, as Naruto buttons up his coat. "I just want to see his face. Once I'm done, I'll lock up that information so tightly. No Yamanaka will be able to unlock it," Naruto says, and both slowly nod. The trio slip back inside to gather their belongings, saying goodbye to Yumi before returning to spring. Aim. Devapane glares at Toby with a blank expression, but his eyes flicker with rage. "What do you mean, all dead?" he demands. Toby stands, arms crossed, inside his cloak. "All the white Zetsu clones are gone, which means Zetsu is dead," Toby says. "Zetsu doesn't operate on the front line," Konan comments. "True. But if Zetsu is dead, then this ghost is far more dangerous than we anticipated," Toby states. "But how? Zetsu is excellent at concealing himself. If Ghost and Sasori really did kill Zetsu, how were they able to sense him? He can hide in Pain-sama's reign," Konan argues. "That's the question. Perhaps we should reconsider bringing Ghost into Akatsuki," Toby suggests, but Ki fills the room. "No. This ghost has defied God. He is the devil and will be smitten," Devapane declares. "That may be true, Pain, but we've lost 3 members now. Our spy network is in ruins," Toby counters. "No matter. Ghost is a threat we can no longer ignore," Devapane states coldly. "Do you truly want to attack Spring? They are a small country, like AIM," Konan protests, but Pain stares at her unwaveringly. "They are a refuge for Ghost. As God, they must be eradicated to continue our path to peace," Devapane asserts, and Konan's eyes widen. "Toby, contact the others. I want them here in AIM within 2 weeks," Devapane orders. Toby narrows his eyes behind his mask, thinking, he's lost his mind. "No matter. I can still work this out." "Of course, Pain-sama," Toby says, vanishing into his eye, leaving Konan and Devapane alone. "Nagato, what are you doing? You want to declare war on a country? You would be no different from the large nations that have used AIM as their battleground. Are you willing to kill innocent people for peace?" Konan challenges. "They will be sacrificed for peace. Do you want to abandon Yahiko's dream?" Devapane retorts. Konan glares at Yahiko's body, her eyes flickering. "This is not Yahiko's dream. You want to murder people to stop one person who could help us," she says. He is the devil. He seeks to stop our peace. Deva Pain shouts. You've changed, Nagato. You've never been like this. Madara has twisted you, and not for the better. Have you distorted Yahiko's dream of peace with Madara's rhetoric? Konan says, but Deva Pain smacks her across the face. She stumbles, clutching her cheek in shock, but the anger rises within her before her world goes black, and she collapses. Standing behind her are 5 people with identical rippled patterned eyes, orange hair in varying lengths and styles, and various piercings. No words are spoken as the largest of them lifts Konan onto his shoulder. You have defied God. Now you are cast out of heaven. Fallen angel, Deva Pain says, summoning several shinobi to spread word of Konan's fall. Spring, 1 week later. Kyoki sits on her throne, trying to suppress her disgust as Jiraiya performs his ridiculous kabuki dance. Jiraiya-san, if you're quite finished, we can get down to business, she says. Jiraiya holds his pose but sighs in defeat. All right, Kyoki-chan, he says, wincing as Kyoki glares at him. Kyoki-sama, I have both a business and a pleasure proposal. I'd like you to come out of retirement to star in my Ika Ika Paradise movie, Jiraiya says, but Kyoki makes a face. You wish for me, a ruler of a country, to star in an adult film and tarnish my reputation? Kyoki says. Yes, but you won't have to do the sexual scenes, unless you wish to with someone you trust, Jiraiya clarifies, trying to amend his statement. Kyoki closes her eyes in disgust but maintains a neutral mask. So, you want me to debase myself in a sexual scene with someone I trust or an actor? I may no longer be pure, but I still have standards, she responds. It won't be that bad, Jiraiya tries to assure her. Not that bad? If I were to do this, thousands would see me naked and in compromising positions. I'm a ruler. Do you wish for my people to see me as a common prostitute? Kyoki snaps, and Jiraiya flinches. My answer is no. So what is the real reason you've come to my country? Kyoki asks firmly. Jiraiya clears his throat, a bit uncomfortable. Right. The Rokudame Hokage, Danzo Shimura, has expressed interest in meeting your hero. The Ghost of Spring. He would like him to come to Konoha, he says. Your Hokage wishes to meet with my ghost? For what reason? Kyoki asks. Hokage-sama was impressed by his deeds. Saving your country from the brink of destruction by the Land of Sky, killing an S-class missing nin, and saving the Kaze cage. Hokage-sama wishes to meet him in person and perhaps through him, reopen trade with Spring, Jiraiya explains. Jiraiya-sama, you expect me to resume trade with a country that celebrated the death of someone who saved my land? Have you forgotten about Naruto Uzumaki? Kyoki says, her anger carefully hidden behind a composed demeanor. Jiraiya conceals his frustration at the mention of Naruto, a significant loss, but one individual shouldn't affect your decisions in such matters, he responds, only for the doors of the throne room to open. Kyoki rises from her seat, it does influence my choice. Konoha is a nation that thrives on the sacrifices of others, she begins, but then smirks, well, except for my ghost, she adds. Jiraiya turns just in time to receive a swift punch from Naruto, sending the famed pervert crashing to the floor. That felt good, Naruto says, pumping his fist in satisfaction. What do you plan to do with him? Kyoki asks. Naruto hoists Jiraiya onto his shoulder, we'll have a little chat, and then I'll lock away his memories. He'll wake up in a room with a fabricated story. You'll turn down his proposal, but I'll head to Konoha with Anko, he explains. Isn't it possible Konoha could break the seal? Kyoki asks. Naruto shakes his head. An hour later, Jiraiya regains consciousness with a jolt, only to find himself restrained in a straitjacket and chained to a chair. What the hell happened? He thinks, struggling to break free. The room is bare, with only a chair and a metal table. Was I captured? It seems Spring has competent shinobi, he muses, but a small yip distracts him. He looks around and sees a small, white fox with 2 tails, glaring at it in annoyance as he tries to kick it. Stay away from him, Haru. You don't know where he's been, a voice says. Naruto walks in, setting a pitcher of water, a glass, and a bowl on the table. Haru yips and hops onto the chair, while Naruto pours water into the bowl. Do you know who I am? Do you know the country I represent? Jiraiya demands. Naruto pulls out a chair and sits down, scratching Haru behind the ears. I know exactly who you are, Jiraiya the Gallant, the Wild Man of Konoha, and the legendary Sunin. Such lovely titles, he says. Jiraiya puffs out his chest, but Naruto snorts dismissively. A title given in failure and a disgrace, Naruto says, folding his arms. Jiraiya glares at him. Who are you? He growls, and Naruto chuckles. We have a history. Don't my eyes look familiar? Naruto says, pointing to his slitted blue eyes. History? Did I sleep with your mother? Jiraiya coughs. Naruto laughs dryly. It's been about 2.5 years since we last met, Naruto says, reaching for his half mask but pausing. Does the name Naruto Uzumaki ring a bell? He asks, and Jiraiya's expression changes. He's dead. Killed by the Akatsuki, but he was a demon in human skin, Jiraiya mutters bitterly. Naruto runs his finger along the rim of his glass. That's the official story, right? But the truth is, Naruto was meant to become the attack dog for Danzo Shimura, the Shadow Hokage, and now the current Rokidame Hokage, he says. Jiraiya's eyes narrow as he realizes the gravity of Naruto's words. Your silence speaks volumes. Wondering how I know this little fact? Simple because I was there, Naruto continues, pulling down his mask. Jiraiya's eyes widen in disbelief. Kurama's words were indeed prophetic that day, weren't they? Naruto says with a smirk, drinking from his glass. Jiraiya struggles against his restraints, his glare unwavering. So, spring is where you've been hiding, Jiraiya growls. I wasn't exactly hiding. Well, I did have to cover my whiskers. A simple mask or a henge worked for that. My blonde hair, though? I used chakra ink to dye it permanently black, but I suppose you could say I was hiding. Not idle, though, Naruto explains. Konoha will come for me. They'll want their weapon back, Jiraiya says confidently. Naruto laughs. Tsunade, did you hear that? Konoha's coming for their pervert, Naruto jokes as the door opens, and Tsunade walks past Jiraiya. Tsunade. How? Jiraiya stammers, but his words are cut short as Tsunade kisses Naruto deeply, and then stares at him. I was saved from Konoha's corruption by my Naruto, Tsunade says, picking up Haru and snuggling the little fox. Show him, Naruto says, and Tsunade reveals her fox-like features. Jiraiya's eyes widen in horror, and Naruto, smiling, reveals his own ears. Kurama sacrificed his soul to make me his progeny, and I bestowed this power upon Tsunade and others, Naruto declares. I knew you were a demon. Tsunade, how could you do this? Jiraiya shouts, but he gasps in pain as Tsunade scratches his face with her claws. Naruto gave me back the years Konoha took from me, Tsunade growls. I also know what Konoha did to my grandmother's clan, and what you, Danzo, and Orochimaru did, she snarls. Jiraiya's eyes widen in shock, but his gaze turns toward Naruto. Look at what you've done to her. He shouts. Oh, please. Don't blame me for your actions, Naruto retorts, resting a hand on Tsunade's shoulder. He's not worth it. Take Haru for lunch, he says. Tsunade calms down and picks up Haru, before hissing, I hope you die a slow death, Jiraiya, and leaving the room. Now that the interruption is over. The reason Tsunade knows the truth is that after Kurama saved me, he took me to Uzushio, Naruto says, causing Jiraiya's face to drain of color. Something else you should know. My parents left traces of themselves within the seal. They're aware of everything in my life. When you meet your end, they'll have something to say, Naruto adds. You're lying. Jiraiya shouts. Naruto takes another sip of water, his eyes glinting, I might be many things, but a liar is not one of them. I spent an entire month in my mind with my parents, learning everything they knew until their chakra was drained. After that, I used thousands of shadow clones to gather decades worth of experience, he says, leaning closer. I've mastered the Hiraishin and taken it a step further. I still use the Kuno, about 100 sealed on me, but I developed an advanced version of the Shunshin I call Flash Step, Naruto continues, and Jiraiya's eyes widen. Not only do my enemies have to worry about the Kuno, but I can move just as fast, Naruto adds with a smirk. You really are a monster, Jiraiya mutters. Naruto shakes his head. No, Jiraiya. You, Danzo, Orochimaru, and Konoha are the true demons. First, you betray the Uzumaki clan, twist the will of fire, turn your sensei into an unwitting pawn to drive me toward Danzo, and then you sacrificed him for your own ambitions, Naruto spits. Sensei was too kind, too emotional to make the hard choices. He couldn't turn you over to Danzo for your true destiny, Jiraiya protests. My destiny? The destiny of every Jinchuriki just to be used as weapons for their villages. Those are Danzo's words, not mine. But you, Jiraiya. Your compensation for joining that heartless warmonger was Tsunade, wasn't it? Naruto sneers. So what? Tsunade deserves a real man like me, not some weakling like Dan Kato. Jiraiya yells. Tsunade would never choose someone like you, a whiny, perverted man-child. You're nothing but a fool, Naruto replies sharply. Grandfather. Jiraiya repeats, shocked. Yes, grandfather. My dad was your bastard son, one of many, I'm sure, from your countless affairs. He wanted to tell you, but he saw the real you. A shameless man with no morals, no talent. You were the weakest of the Sannin and the dumbest, too, Naruto mocks, crossing his legs. Jiraiya lunges forward, but the chains hold him in place. I should have smothered you as a child. Your very existence killed my son and Kushina, Jiraiya hisses. Oh, so now dad is your son? How pathetic. The moment I tell you the truth, you claim him. Well, guess what, Toad? It was all a lie. My father would never have the genes of an infection like you, Naruto spits, anger rising in his voice. Enough of that. You are nothing but a poison to those around you. Your very existence is a curse. If Jiji had never met you, he might still be alive. If Tsunade hadn't known you, she wouldn't have suffered so much. Your lust for her allowed Orochimaru to take her brother, and Danzo took full advantage of that, Naruto growls. How the hell do you know all of that? Jiraiya stammers. Naruto rolls up his sleeve and reveals a black book. This book holds secrets even Danzo never knew. He thought he was a genius, but Jiji was always a step ahead. Before Izushio fell, the Uzukage sent this book to him. He knew everything about Danzo, you, and even Orochimaru. But Jiji was too soft to act on it. He was planning to give it to my parents, but Kurama's attack stopped him. He never got the chance, and my dad would have had the power to rid Konoha of the guilty. Imagine Danzo's face if this ever came to light, Naruto says with a grin. Konoha will wipe you off the face of the earth, Naruto. Even with the high ration, you can't stand against a village that knows all your strengths and weaknesses, Jiraiya warns. Naruto grabs Jiraiya by the throat. Konoha's time is running out. Have you forgotten? I spent a year training in Izushio. That still leaves me a year and a half unaccounted for. I've made quite the name for myself as the Ghost of Spring, Naruto says with a grin, his words chilling. Yes. You know what I mean. The S-rank threat who wiped out the land of Sky and just recently took down Deidara and Sasori. You came here to meet the ghost, but it's actually the demon brat. Right. Naruto taunts. You're lying. Jiraiya spits, but Naruto tilts his head with a smile. I told you, Jiraiya. I don't lie. I am the Ghost of Spring. I destroyed the land of Sky and sank it into the ocean, Naruto says coolly as he releases his grip on Jiraiya. Just picture it. I return to Konoha, transform into a fox, and lay waste to it just like Kurama did. But this time, there's no Yondaime to seal it away, Naruto sneers. Sasuke will stop you, Jiraiya says defiantly. Naruto laughs softly at first, but then his laughter grows louder. You sound like Ino. Sasuke can't touch me. His ninjutsu is weak. His taijutsu is pathetic. His genjutsu is useless. I know he wants to face me as the ghost, but he'll fail. And then he'll whine. I'm an Uchiha. I can't lose, Naruto mocks. I bet if I told him I could make him as strong as me, if he joined me, he'd do it without hesitation, Naruto adds, his tone amused. Jiraiya remains silent. Your silence says it all. I bet Danzo knows it too, Naruto comments, his eyes gleaming. So what happens now, demon? Jiraiya hisses. Naruto clenches his fist, tilting his head before giving it a quick shine and landing a left hook to Jiraiya's face. That, Naruto muses as Jiraiya falls unconscious. The door opens, and Sakura steps in, swaying her hips. Finished, Naruto-un? She asks. Yeah, it'd be a waste to do more. He'll get his eventually. I'll let Tsunade have her turn, Naruto says with a smirk. Sakura walks around Jiraiya and kisses Naruto softly on the lips. No kidding. Shishao will tear him apart, she comments. Naruto struggled to resist the urge to plunge a kunai into Jiraiya's throat, as the man rambled endlessly about his books, women, and self-proclaimed manliness. Anko, disguised under a transformation, snickered at that remark. She had experienced a true man, and Naruto had certainly lived up to the expectations. Jiraiya, completely oblivious to the fact that the ghost and Naruto were one and the same, woke up the following morning to find two women in his bed, both praising his prowess after a rather generous payment. Kyoki had declined to make a movie with him but allowed the ghost to meet with Konoha. You'll love Konoha. The hot springs. The women, Jiraiya boasted. Anko shot him a scowl, her disguise now resembling her former sensei with long, braided neon green hair and sickly yellow eyes. The group soon arrived at the towering walls of Konoha, greeted by the infamous gatekeepers, Izumo and Kotetsu. You're pretty famous, Izumo remarked. Naruto signed his name nonchalantly, lollipop dangling from his mouth. Yeah, I didn't notice. I do my job. As a ghost, I'm not meant to be noticed. I make people wonder if I even exist, he replied coolly. Jiraiya quickly scribbled in his notepad, a trail of blood running down his nose, but he froze when Naruto's gaze hardened. If I ever see my likeness in one of your books, I'll cut your nuts off, boil them, and feed them to you, Naruto said with a chilling tone. Both Izumo and Kotetsu instinctively grabbed at their crotches. Right. Let's head to see the Hokage. Your lady can find a hotel, Jiraiya said nervously. Naruto glanced back at Anko, smirking. See you soon, lover, he cooed, watching her strut off in her revealing attire. Jiraiya's curiosity got the best of him. So, you doing her? Naruto shot him a murderous glare, silencing him immediately. The village had hardly changed since his last visit, but he could sense numerous hidden shinobi. More than likely his eni, he mused. Jiraiya continued his excited rambling about how Konoha was the strongest village and so on, but Naruto couldn't help but think, such propaganda. When they reached the Anbu headquarters, Naruto frowned. Why aren't we going to the Hokage Tower? Well, it was destroyed recently. The former Hokage and several others were killed. We're temporarily moving things here until the new building is finished, Jiraiya explained. Inside, the Anbu gave Naruto wary looks, but he paid them no mind, his sense of the Kyuubi still strong within him. Hokage-sama is inside, an Anbu named Bull stated as they reached the door. Jiraiya opened the door, and Naruto immediately noticed Danzo and Orochimaru standing with the current Hokage. Welcome to Konoha. I am the Rokudame Hokage, Danzo began, his tone devoid of warmth. He didn't offer a handshake. Naruto calmly nodded and took a seat as Jiraiya leaned against the door. I am Menma, also known as the Ghost, Naruto introduced himself. Orochimaru chuckled darkly. Kukyuku. You're so young, and already an S-class shinobi. Naruto didn't react, his eyes narrowed. He felt Danzo attempting to probe his mind, but he kept his composure. Yes, but I'm not one to brag. I let my actions speak for me, he said flatly. Indeed. You destroyed the land of sky, saved the spring country, killed Deidara from IWA, and saved the current Kaze cage. Quite notable feats, Orochimaru commented. Naruto nodded, expressionless. Yes. Hokage-sama, Jiraiya-san wasn't forthcoming with the reasons for this meeting. Could you elaborate? Danzo's visible eye narrowed, but his expression remained neutral. Yes, let's get straight to the point. I wish to offer you a place in Konoha. You would be granted the status of Takubetsu Jonin, and after proving yourself, you'd be promoted to full Jonin after a few years. You would also be required to father a child with a woman of our choosing within 2 years. Once the child is born, you would be granted clan status, he stated coldly. Naruto stared at the older man, blinking once and rubbing his eyes as if processing the offer. His actions gave Danzo, Orochimaru, and Jiraiya the false impression of victory. Hokage-sama. You want me to abandon my loyalty to Kyoki-sama and join Konoha, be granted special Jonin status with promotion to full Jonin after a few years, but also, impregnate a woman of your choice. All because you believe the rumors of my speed. And once the child is born, I could receive clan status. Naruto relayed in a disinterested tone. Well, come on, kid. It's a good deal for an outsider. You're a big fish in a small pond in spring. Konoha is where the big fish swim, Jiraiya chimed in eagerly. Naruto glanced at his former supposed sensei. So, loyalty means nothing unless it's to Konoha and the Fire Country, he asked, his gaze unblinking. Jiraiya glanced away, unable to meet his eyes. Though crude, Jiraiya is correct. Your talent is wasted in spring. Rumors say you're the second coming of our Yondaime or the current Yondaime Raikage. Konoha can give you a place to thrive, Danzo pushed, his hidden eye probing deeper. Naruto rubbed his eyes once again, his patience thinning. To me, a shinobi is one who fights from the shadows, not for status or glory, but to aid their country. A shinobi should not serve two masters. I am loyal to Kyoki-sama. Her shinobi are loyal to her, not a cage or a council, he explained coldly, his words causing Danzo's visible eye to twitch. Kukyuku. This ghost is interesting, Orochimaru thought, an intrigued smirk forming on his face. I wonder how he would fare against Sasuke-kun. Your dedication to Kotoki-sama is notable, Orochimaru muses. Tell me, what makes you think you'd be willing to serve two masters? Well, I met someone during my travels to the Earth Country. Unfortunately, he didn't hold Konoha in high regard, Naruto replies, hinting at something larger. Who was this person? Jiraiya asks, clearly curious. Naruto taps his chin thoughtfully. He wore an IWA shinobi uniform, about 15 or 16 years old. Blonde, spiky hair, red eyes, and scars on his cheeks, he explains, causing Jiraiya to freeze. Are you sure? Jiraiya exclaims. Naruto locks eyes with Danzo, nodding, yes. He never gave his name, but there was an aura about him dangerous, almost inhuman. This could be significant, Jiraiya murmurs, but Danzo raises a hand, silencing him. Even as an outsider, you've given us valuable information, Danzo begins, before clearing his throat. There's another matter to address. One of our jonin, Sasuke Uchiha, has expressed interest in facing you in a battle or sparring match. Sasuke Uchiha, is he related to Itachi Uchiha, the kinslayer? Naruto asks, raising an eyebrow. Danzo nods. Yes, he's Itachi's younger brother, Danzo confirms. Naruto scratches his cheek, forgive me, Hokage-sama, but I haven't heard much about this Sasuke. Is he listed in the bingo book? Sasuke-kun was personally trained by me, Orochimaru chimes in. He does have an old entry from 3 years ago, though it hasn't been updated. I can assure you, he's quite strong. I see. I'll agree to spar with him, but there's a condition. If I hurt him, I risk facing retaliation from the Sunin or any of your shinobi, Naruto remarks, throwing a challenge their way. We'll have both of you sign a waiver to absolve both Konoha and Spring in case of injury or death, Danzo offers. Interesting offer, Hokage-sama, Naruto replies coolly. I'll face Sasuke in a full contact spar, but I'll limit myself to taijutsu, substitution, and chunshin. Jiraiya looks horrified, you're crazy. Using just the basics against an Uchiha? Either you're cocky or foolish. Naruto dismisses him, will that be acceptable, Hokage-sama? Danzo remains silent for a moment, but internally he seethes, why can't my Sharingan affect him? No matter, Sasuke will break him, and we'll learn everything about the Jinchuriki. That will suffice. The spar will take place tomorrow at noon, Danzo says, giving Naruto a sharp look. May I bring one of my Kuroiui members? Naruto asks, glancing toward Danzo. Of course, but what is Kuroiui? Danzo inquires. It's a group I formed with several kunoichi, Naruto explains. 2 of my members helped the Kazekage and his brother. Danzo freezes, interesting. Your group must be new to escape the eyes of our intelligence. Naruto stands and bows, thank you for your offer, Hokage-sama. I'll consider it tonight and give you my decision after the spar. As Jiraiya follows Naruto out, he frowns, hook, line, and sinker, Naruto thinks, feeling victorious. Is he in control now? Orochimaru asks, glancing at Danzo. Not quite, Danzo mutters, clearly irritated. This ghost is more dangerous than we thought. My Kota Amatsukami should be working, but it falters on him, Danzo admits. Then Sasuke's Sharingan will be useless as well, Orochimaru muses. Tomorrow will be interesting. Indeed. But the possibility that he encountered the Jinchuriki. Danzo trails off, lighting a cigarette. It seems Oniki is clever to have Naruto-kun as one of his shinobi. With him, IWA could control 3 Jinchuriki, Orochimaru points out. No matter the outcome, Ghost and his associates will be dealt with, Danzo says with finality. You think he'll refuse? Orochimaru asks. Danzo nods, yes, he's loyal to the actress. Orochimaru laughs, his thoughts drifting to the possibility of acquiring Naruto's body. Later, Naruto walks through the village, his thoughts on the upcoming events. Jiraiya will surely rush to investigate Kuroi's existence, and Oniki will deny any connection to IWA, of course. He feels several eyes on him but continues with a smile, spotting Ichiraku Ramen. He enters, and to his surprise, the shop is empty. Hello. He calls out. 1 second. A voice responds. Naruto takes a seat as Ayam appears from the back. She sees him and quickly approaches, but he swiftly activates a special genjutsu. Hey, Ayam Nichan, Naruto says, grinning. Ayam immediately rushes to him and hugs him tightly, whispering, Naruto-kun. I'm sorry I didn't get you out of here sooner. Did Lucas give you and your dad the scroll? Naruto asks. Ayam wipes her tears and nods, yes, he did. Can you really get us out, without raising suspicions? Of course, Naruto assures her. We'll take care of everything. Your loyalty to Koitoki-san is impressive. Tell me, what gave you the idea that you could serve 2 masters? Orochimaru inquired. Well, I met someone during my travels in the Earth Country. Unfortunately, he didn't hold Konoha in high regard, Naruto replied, baiting them carefully. Who was he? Jiraiya interjected. Naruto paused thoughtfully before continuing. He wore an IWA uniform, young, around 15 or 16. His hair was spiky and blonde, and he had these strange scars on his cheeks, he explained, causing a flicker of recognition in Jiraiya's eyes. Are you sure? Jiraiya exclaimed. Naruto glanced at Danzo and nodded. Yes, I'm certain. He didn't give me his name, but when we crossed paths, he exuded an aura that felt inhuman, Naruto said firmly. Hokage-sama, this could be it, Jiraiya suggested, but Danzo raised a hand to silence him. Not even a Konoha shinobi, and yet you've provided us with valuable information. There's another matter to address, Danzo began, clearing his throat. One of our jonin, Sasuke Uchiha, has requested to face you in a battle, or rather, a full contact spar, he added. Sasuke Uchiha. Is he related to Itachi Uchiha, the one known as the Kinslayer? Naruto asked, his curiosity piqued. Danzo nodded. Yes, he's his younger brother, Danzo replied. Naruto rubbed his chin thoughtfully. Forgive me, Hokage-sama, but I've never heard of this Sasuke. Is he listed in the bingo book? He asked. Sasuke-kun was personally trained by me. He does have an old entry from 3 years ago, but it hasn't been updated. I assure you, he is quite strong, Orochimaru chimed in. I see. I'd agree to face him in a full contact spar, but should I hurt him, I risk attracting the wrath of 2 Sunin, or worse, your shinobi, Naruto said, letting more bait fall. We'll allow both of you to sign a waiver to absolve both Konoha and Spring of responsibility should you end up injured, or should Sasuke kill you, Danzo said, his tone heavy with implication. An interesting offer, Hokage-sama. But I'll add this. I will face Sasuke, but I will limit myself to taijutsu, substitution, and shunshin, Naruto stated, shocking both Orochimaru and Jiraiya. Are you insane? You plan to fight an Uchiha using only the basics? Either you are overly cocky or downright foolish, Jiraiya said with disbelief. Naruto ignored him and turned to Danzo. Will that be acceptable, Hokage-sama? Danzo remained silent for a moment, his anger rising internally. Why isn't my Sharingan working on him? He thought, but didn't voice his concern. Yes. That will suffice. The spar will take place tomorrow at noon. Jiraiya will guide you to training ground 7. Several of our jonin will be present to witness it, Danzo confirmed. May I bring one of my Kuroiui members? Naruto asked. Danzo raised an eyebrow. What is Kuroi Ui? It's a group I formed with several kunoichi. 2 of my members assisted the Kaze Kage and his brother, Naruto explained, causing Danzo to freeze momentarily. Interesting. Your group must be fairly new to have escaped the attention of our spy master, Danzo observed. Naruto rose from his seat and bowed respectfully. It seems so. Thank you for your offer, Hokage-sama. I'll think it over tonight and give you my answer after the spar, he said. Jiraiya opened the door and followed Naruto out, still scowling. Hook, line, and sinker, Naruto thought with a smirk. Kukyoku, were you able to take control? Orochimaru asked. Danzo scowled. Seems not, he muttered. This ghost is more dangerous than we thought. My Koda Amatsukami would have begun to work, but it quickly stopped. His mind is like a steel trap, Danzo observed. Then Sasuke-kun's Sharingan will be useless as well. Tomorrow should prove to be quite interesting, Orochimaru mused. Indeed. However, the possibility that he's encountered the Jinchuriki concerns me, Danzo said, lighting a cigarette. It seems Oniki is quite thorough to have someone like Naruto-kun under his command. That would give IWA 3 Jinchuriki, Orochimaru said. Regardless of the outcome, Ghost and his companions will be dealt with, Danzo stated firmly. You think he'll decline the spar? Orochimaru asked. Danzo nodded. Yes. He's loyal to the actress, he replied, with a hint of annoyance. Orochimaru chuckled softly, considering the potential future of acquiring Naruto's body. Naruto strolled through the streets after Jiraiya had left to investigate him. Jiraiya will run around like a headless chicken trying to confirm Kuroi Ui's existence and my supposed ties to IWA, but Oniki will deny it, of course, he thought with a smirk. As he walked, he noticed several eni on his tail but paid them little mind, his focus instead on the sight of Ichiraku ramen. He entered the shop, which appeared to be dead. Hello. He called out. 1 second. Came a shout from the back, and Naruto sat on a stool, waiting. Ayam appeared from the kitchen, saw him, and Naruto quickly formed a special genjutsu. Hey, Ayam Nichan, Naruto greeted, his smile genuine. Ayam approached, practically slamming into him. Naruto-kun. She whispered, her voice filled with relief. I'm sorry I didn't get you out sooner, but did Lucas give you and your dad the scroll? Naruto asked. Ayam nodded, wiping tears from her eyes. Yes, he did. Can you really get us out of here without raising suspicion? She asked. I can. I'll cast a genjutsu on a few villagers, making them attack the shop and cause an explosion. A clone will get you both out into spring, Naruto explained, his voice calm and focused. Tuki, having overheard the conversation, nodded with a chuckle. Got it, kiddo, he said. As Ayam and Tuka prepared to leave, Naruto gently petted Lucas, who was perched on his shoulder. Any other problems? Naruto asked. Nope. Mom is already in the estates, and she grabbed everything of value, Lucas replied before vanishing with a puff of smoke. Ayam returned with a large bowl of ramen, and Naruto's stomach growled. Thanks for the food, he said, devouring his meal with ease. As he was finishing up, Anko stepped inside, her eyes widening at the sight of 10 empty ramen bowls stacked in front of Naruto. Where does he put it all? Anko thought, taking a seat next to him. Give me a sec, Naruto said, his voice muffled as his cheeks were stuffed with ramen. He quickly finished, sucking up the last of the noodles. Sorry, Naruto said with a grin, placing some money on the table. Thanks for the food. He called out. Come back anytime. Ayam shouted as the pair left the shop. As they walked through the streets, Naruto couldn't help but smile. Tomorrow, I'll crush Sasuke. The bait is set. Let's see what happens next. I can. I'll cast a genjutsu on a few villagers, and they will attack the shop, causing an explosion. A clone will get you out into spring, Naruto suggests. Who is it, Ayam? Tuki asks. 1x Aljiji, Naruto replies, causing Tuki to chuckle. You got it, kiddo, Tuki agrees, and Ayam follows him. Naruto pats Lucas on the head. Any other issues? He asks. Nope. Mama got everything of note from the estates, Lucas explains, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Ayam returns with a large bowl of ramen, and Naruto's mouth waters. He claps his hands together, dispelling his genjutsu. Thanks for the meal, Naruto says as he devours his food, finishing several more bowls in quick succession. Anko enters, her eyes widening at the sight of 10 bowls of ramen beside Naruto, who continues eating. Where does he put it? Anko wonders, sitting beside him. Give me a second, Naruto mutters, his cheeks full, before slurping the last of the noodles. Sorry, Naruto mumbles, placing money on the table. Thanks for the meal. He shouts, standing up. Come back anytime. Ayam calls out. The two leave for their hotel, stopping to buy several pounds of dango along the way. Where are you going to put all that? Naruto muses, holding several bags. Don't make that face. I like dango just like you like ramen, Anko teases. They reach their hotel near the red light district, and Naruto thanks, clever, as they enter. The room is furnished with a large bed and a decent bathroom. They've taken the bait, he muses, flopping down on the sofa. So what's the plan now? Anko asks. Tonight, we get the Ichirikas out. Tomorrow, I'll embarrass Sasuke. I also told Danzo. I saw myself in Earth Country in an IWA uniform. Jiraiya almost lost it. Danzo's paranoid enough to send the perv. That gives me an opportunity to play one of my aces, Naruto explains. You have an ace up your sleeve? Anko asks, slipping off her gloves. Naruto flashes his signature smile at her. I have someone in IWA, close to the old fence sitter. Once Danzo sends Jiraiya to Earth Country, I'll contact my ace. If we're lucky, he'll be captured, causing friction between IWA and Konoha, Naruto says. That's a bit evil. I like it, Anko laughs. I'm trying to break the system. If war comes, so be it, Naruto remarks, and Anko laughs softly. So, when do we take down the snake? She asks. Soon. Orochimaru is more interested in me than Sasuke. Once I humiliate Sasuke tomorrow, Orochimaru will come after me like Ino does Sasuke, Naruto says confidently. So you're already going to fight Sasuke? Anko asks. Just a full contact spar. Danzo wants us me to sign waivers to absolve Konoha if he kills me. I told him I'd keep it basic, Naruto explains. Pfft, more like absolve us after you wipe the floor with him, Anko scoffs, and Naruto smirks. Yeah, I'll beat him so badly that his children will be born bruised. Then I'll take the 6 paths yin power from him too, Naruto says with a dark smile. Anko laughs and finishes her dango. Alright, time to work off some calories, Anko teases, pouncing on him, and they spend hours together. Time skip. Mid-morning arrives too quickly for the pair. Naruto wakes up first, sneaks out of bed, takes a quick shower, and heads to Ichiraku to see the damage. His clones have already gotten both Ayam and Tuki out of Konoha, moving them to his warehouse in the capital. Naruto reaches the scorched ruins of Ichiraku, and people are gawking. Some seem glad the place burned, even hoping Ayam and Tuki are dead. This fuels Naruto's resolve to wipe Konoha from the map. He heads to Akimichi Barbecue for breakfast and is treated to the sight of Koji stuffing his face. Oi, why do you smell like foxes? A voice calls out. Naruto looks up to see Kiba standing there. Excuse me. Naruto replies, slightly irritated. You smell like foxes. Foxes are demons and should be killed on sight in Konoha, Kiba states, wearing a form-fitting leather jacket with zips over his chest and sleeves, along with matching black pants and sandals. I have a pet fox back home. She's very affectionate, Naruto says, finding a booth to sit down. Kiba joins him, followed by Koji. Why would you have a fox? They're demons, Koji notes, wearing a red suit with plated armor on his torso and arms, with the kanji for food written on the front. Can I help you with something other than my love of foxes? Naruto asks, uninterested. Huh, the name's Kiba Inyazuka, head of the Inyazuka clan, Kiba announces proudly. Koji Akimichi. My family owns this place, Koji says. Naruto picks up a menu, glancing over it. I'm Menma, he introduces himself. You look a bit young to be a clan head, he comments. Well, my mother and sister were killed, so the elders made me head, Kiba brags. Naruto hides his scowl as the waitress arrives. Well, congratulations, Kiba-san. Now, If you'll excuse me, I'd like to eat alone, please, Naruto says, before placing his order. So, why are you in Konoha? Kiba presses. Naruto sighs. Hokage-sama asked me to come meet with him. I did, but he wants me to spar with Sasuke Uchiha, he replies. Kukyuku. That little brat deserved that and more, Ankle laughs. Naruto unseals his coat and puts it on. All right, head back to spring. I'm going to retrieve Sasuke's 6 paths yen, then head to Earth Country to intercept Jiraiya with my trump card, he says, creating a shadow clone. The clone places a hand on Anko's shoulder before vanishing in a white flash as Naruto heads upstairs for a quick rest and to wait. Konoha General. As the sun sets in Sasuke's room, his face is heavily bandaged, and his left arm is in a cast. A tarantula slowly descends from the shadows, landing on Sasuke's chest, but in a puff of smoke, a small girl with snow-white hair and green eyes straddles him. Tiki. Boss wants your power. Let's make it easy, she says, pulling out a kunai from her bag. A white flash fills the room as Naruto appears, quickly making hand signs. He creates a barrier as the girl giggles. Thanks, Archie, he says. We got everything, Archie responds. Naruto removes his gloves and places them in his pockets. Thanks, Lucas told me, he says, placing his hand on Sasuke's chest. I better act fast before his dog shows up. Archie, cover his mouth, Naruto orders. Archie covers Sasuke's mouth as Naruto channels his Yang 6 Paths power, trying to sync it with the yin half. Slowly, it works, and he places his other hand on Sasuke's chest. Sasuke's body trembles as a yellow glow emerges and crawls up Naruto's left arm. Naruto winces as his left eye burns with pain, the last of the yin power leaving Sasuke's body, and looking down, he sees a moon symbol on his hand. Boss, your eye changed, Archie says, releasing Sasuke. Naruto slips his gloves back on and finds a mirror. His eyes widen when he sees a Rinnegan staring back at him, with 6 tomos. This must be a gift from Indra's power. Thanks, Sasuke, Naruto says, turning to Archie. Please keep an eye on things. I'll be on my way, he adds. Archie shifts into her spider form and disappears into the shadows. Well, Sasuke, it was fun, at least for me, Naruto muses, dispelling the barrier and vanishing just as Ino opens the door, ready to tend to Sasuke's injuries. Break. Jiraiya, accompanied by a small group of Umbu, makes his way through Earth Country, searching for Naruto. After receiving information about Naruto's whereabouts from a ghostly figure, Jiraiya quickly gathered the Umbu to track him down, despite Danzo's objections. It had been about a week since they left, but for Jiraiya, it was a chance to atone for his failure. Naruto could have come to Konoha and killed Tsunade. Did you inform Monaki of our secrets? Damn demon, Jiraiya mutters to himself. The group quickly makes their way through a rocky plain when suddenly, earthen spikes erupt from the ground. Form up. Jiraiya commands, but the ground turns to quicklime, trapping them. Seems our informant was right, a voice sneers. A block of rock rises from the ground, and atop it stands a young woman with short black hair and pink eyes, dressed in an IWA ninja uniform. The red outfit has a missing sleeve on her right arm and a lapel on her right leg, with a brown flak jacket, fishnet tights, and a skirt. Jiraiya of the Sunin. My informant told me you were trespassing in our country with a squad of Umbu, she declares, several IWA Umbu surrounding them. Jiraiya maintains a calm expression, though seething internally. Kuratsuke, granddaughter of Onaki, he begins, but his eyes widen when another figure appears beside her. Naruto. You demon, Jiraiya gasps. The blonde former pariah from Konoha stands with his arms crossed. Heiro Senin, Naruto sneers, glaring at Jiraiya. How did you know I was here? Naruto asks, his gaze sharp. The Umbu struggle to free themselves, but Jiraiya answers, a shinobi named Ghost told us. Ghost. That jerk. Onakijiji calls him the ghost of the Flash, like the Yondaime, Naruto replies, dropping down to the ground. So you heard my name and came rushing with no plan and such pathetic backup, he adds. You killed the Hokage, one of the IWA Umbu shouts. Naruto tilts his head, his brow furrowing. Bahn's dead. He exclaims. You did it, didn't you, Naruto? You killed Tsunade. For what? To get back at me. Jiraiya yells. Such a shame, but you leave shinobi are trespassing, Kurotsuka says, descending alongside Naruto. You won't get away with this, Jiraiya hisses, preparing to free himself. Oh, but you won't need to, a voice interrupts. Jiraiya turns around, and his breath catches when he sees Ghost standing right behind them. The Naruto in front of him disappears in a puff of smoke, as do all the IWA Umbu. Don't you just love shadow clones? The real Naruto says, now wearing dark sunglasses. Hey, boy, Kurotsuka greets. Hey, girl, Naruto responds with a smirk, before turning to Jiraiya. Hey, Ero Sennin, he says. Jiraiya's eyes widen, and his body shudders as memories flood back, veins flaring on his face as his teeth grind. Ovovovo. The memories have returned. The trigger being Ero Sennin spoken twice, Naruto taunts. You damn monster. You should have been eradicated as a child. Jiraiya yells. Naruto laughs coldly as he steps closer to the Toad Sage. I thought I was just another weapon for Konoha's arsenal. I saved Gaara, brought Tsunade back to become the Go-Dame, but what did Konoha do? Betray me. Konoha takes from those who show loyalty, but never gives anything back, he says bitterly. You aren't a person, Naruto, Jiraiya spits, you're just a tool, a weapon to be used and discarded once you're no longer needed. So, I'm nothing to you then? My father must be turning in the afterlife, realizing he trusted you, a man-child, forever whining and incapable of making real change. A pervert who blackmails women or begs for their affection. How could Danzo ever expect Tsunade to be yours? Through his Sharingan tricks, turning her into a puppet, or with Orochimaru's sick experiments. Naruto snaps, ripping his glasses off to reveal his new Rinnegan. Jiraiya recoils in shock. The Rinnegan? Impossible. How do you possess those eyes? Jiraiya stammers, his voice full of disbelief. The Rinnegan? You mean like Nagato, or Pain as he called himself? Actually, thanks Sasuke for this. After I took him down in Konoha, I claimed this power from him. He never knew he had it, but it was too late, Naruto explains, his voice dripping with contempt. So this was all a setup. Jiraiya growls. Naruto smirks, placing his glasses on his forehead. Just a little bit. You've been hunting me for years and got nowhere. So I offered you a little bait, and you jumped right at it, like the hungry dog you are. Pathetic, he sneers. But the best part is yet to come. Imagine this, Jiraiya of the legendary Sunin, assassinating Oniki, the third Tsuchikage. Many in IWA still despise Konoha for the last war, Kurotsuka comments. When their leader dies, war will reignite in IWA. Danzo will likely abandon you, but the die will already be cast. Hyumo might see it as an opportunity, and with Gaara abandoning Konoha, Suna will be alone. Your little plans are unraveling, Naruto adds. You've finally shown your true nature. Demon, Boar hisses. Naruto steps closer to him, clapping slowly. Konoha's go-to label for me, he mutters as his hand rests on Boar's head. Boar seizes in place, and a blue, glowing figure leaves his body. Now, I know the layout of Umbu HQ and all their patrol routes, Naruto grins. What did you just do? Jiraiya demands. Naruto taps near his left eye. One of the abilities of the Rinnegan, the Ningendo path. It lets me read thoughts and even tear out souls if I wish, he explains. With a snap of his fingers, a clone rips Sparrow out from the limestone, choking her by the neck. Jiraiya watches in shock as a black rod protrudes from the back of her neck. A second clone materializes next to Naruto as he cracks his neck. Well, I'd love to continue, but there's something more pressing, Naruto muses, tossing Sparrow's lifeless body aside. Kurotsuki, take Jiraiya to the warehouse and start setting up. This clone will help you handle the Umbu, Naruto orders, pushing his glasses down. You won't get away with this, Naruto. Jiraiya shouts in fury. Naruto turns to face him, a smirk on his face. Oh, you think Konoha knows my weaknesses? No, Jiraiya, the real question is, do you know Konoha's weaknesses? I do, and that's why this is all happening, he says, vanishing in a flash of white light, leaving a furious Jiraiya and a smirking Kurotsuki. Scene break. Music, Naruto Shippuden Ost 2, Hyuhaka plus Kokiden. Itaka coughs up blood as he kneels, Konan lying unconscious beside him, his Akatsuki cloak tattered and his body covered in cuts. Before them stand the various paths of pain, along with Haiden, Kakuzu, and Kisame. You would defy God. Deva Pain looks down at him coldly. I always knew you were a traitor, Itaka-san, Kisame chuckles, his weapon same hata resting on his shoulder. Hee hee hee. I can finally offer you up to Jashin, Haiden grins manically. Itaka's eyes flicker, but his body shimmers, and a woman suddenly stands in his place. What the hell? You're a woman. Haiden exclaims in surprise. It seems your chakra receiver disrupted my transformation, Itaka says, coughing more blood into her hand. No matter. God will pass judgment, Deva Pain declares, raising his hand. But before they can act, a flash of light erupts, and Naruto steps in front of Itake, his presence instantly calming her. Cutting it a bit close, Itake. Naruto says, his eyes never leaving Deva Pain and the others. Sorry, Naruto-kun. Things escalated. Pain betrayed Konan before I could get there, and I tried to get her out, but they caught on, Itake explains. Who the hell are you? Haiden demands. Naruto lowers his hood, cracking his neck as he looks at them all. So, this is the infamous god of aim and the so-called Akatsuki. All I see are a bunch of weaklings, Naruto says dismissively, ignoring Haiden entirely. So, you finally revealed yourself, Jinchuriki of the Ninetales, the leader of the Sixfold Paths of Pain declares. Correction. Former Jinchuriki of the Ninetales, now the second Ninetales sovereign, Naruto responds, spreading his arms to show off his ears and tails, with one tail now a sandy brown. You're growing stronger, kid. Same Hada is more than eager to feast on your chakra, Kisame yells. A clone appears behind Naruto as his tails and ears vanish, he'll escort you to the warehouse. We need the eye, Naruto says. They played right into your trap, Itaki asks. Naruto nods as he reaches for his glasses. The clone places a hand on Itaka's shoulder, and she picks up Konan as they disappear in a flash of light. Now, Akatsuki, shall we begin? Naruto declares. 5 of the paths leap forward, joined by Haiden, but Naruto tosses his glasses aside and blinks in front of Haiden. You will be the first, Naruto says, slamming Haiden into a wall and extracting his soul. Kisame and Kakuzu are momentarily stunned as Naruto discards the now lifeless body of Haiden. Take a look at his left eye. It's almost identical to Pain's, but there's a difference, Kakuzu observes. Deva Pain frowns, and a Jira Pain rips off its arm, firing a barrage of missiles. Shinra Tensei, Naruto thinks, redirecting the missiles. He charges forward, grabs Haiden's scythe, and slices a Jira Pain clean in half. Sudden, Sukodan no Jutsu. Kisame calls out, joining the battle. Naruto discards the scythe and absorbs Kisame's water attack. Fair's fair. Sudden, Suiari Udan no Jutsu. He retorts, sending a water dragon toward Kisame. Frida Pain intervenes, trying to absorb the jutsu, while Ninjendo Pain charges from behind, and Shakushodo Pain summons several centipedes. Naruto somersaults over Ninjendo Pain, using a springboard kick to propel himself upwards. Odama raise non, Naruto thinks, forming a massive sphere and smashing it into the centipedes. He quickly swings his left arm, sending a chain that ensnares Jigakudo Pain, yanking it toward him as his right hand crackles with lightning. Chidori, Naruto thinks, obliterating Jigakudo Pain's head. As Deva Pain sends a concussive blast of Shinra Tensei, Naruto lands skillfully, skidding across the water. Kakuzu lands in front of him, his threads bursting from his body, charging up in attack. Naruto slams his palms together, summoning a giant panda to shield himself from the blast. He forms another raise non, but this one grows larger, its wind swirling violently. Futon, Raisin Shuriken, Naruto thinks, throwing the spinning orb. Kakuzu attempts to evade, but the Raisin Shuriken enlarges and engulfs him, tearing apart his hearts with razor-sharp winds. The herd is thinning, Naruto remarks, eyes locked on Deva Pain, Frida Pain, Shakushodo Pain, Ninjendo Pain, and Kisame. How do you possess God's eyes? Deva Pain demands. Apologies, but this devil doesn't speak, Naruto responds, blinking in front of Ninjendo Pain and driving another Chidori through his chest. His left arm shifts, charging a chakra blast that explodes through Shakushodo Pain. Bansho Tenon. Deva Pain yells, pulling both enemies toward him as sacrifices. Naruto is pulled into Deva Pain's path just as a chakra rod emerges from his arm. However, Naruto grins, and his Rinnegan glows brightly. Instead of the chakra rod piercing him, Kisame takes the blow and bleeds out. Naruto opens his mouth wide as a Baijuadama forms. Consider this your downfall, he thinks, obliterating Deva Pain and Kisame, along with part of Pain's tower and sections of AIM. He sighs as his senses stretch across the area. There you are, he thinks, vanishing in a white flash. Break. Inside a chamber stands a strange contraption, and within it, a withered man with red hair and Rinnegan eyes contemplates his defeat. How could I have fallen? He thinks. Because even supposed gods are not exempt from failure, Naruto's voice rings out from behind him. Pain, or rather Nagato, glares over his shoulder. How did you find me? Nagato asks. Since becoming the new Ninetales, my sensing abilities have improved. Now tell me, Nagato, why do you want the tailed beasts? Naruto asks, circling the contraption. Peace. I will bring peace to this world, Koai, Nagato replies. Koai. Naruto echoes. I was once known as Nagato, but I have cast that name aside. Jiraiya was my sensei, just as he was yours, Nagato continues. Shadows fall across Naruto's eyes as he lets out a quiet laugh. That pervert was never my sensei, nor was he yours, senpai. You were just a tool for him. Jiraiya was working for Danzo. Danzo set you up with Hanzo. They thought if you died, they could claim the Rinnegan for themselves, Naruto reveals. Nagato tries to respond, but Naruto's crackling left arm bursts through his back. Sorry, the old me would have tried to talk this out. Convince you to help me, but I can tell by your emotions. You're too far gone, Naruto says. Nagato slumps forward as Naruto pulls his arm free. With a solemn look, Naruto removes his coat and reaches for Nagato's eyes. Step back from the Rinnegan, Hyobi's new host, a chilling voice declares. Finally revealing yourself. I could sense your presence lingering on the edge of the fight, Naruto remarks, bursting the Rinnegan with his Baijiryo chakra. You have no idea the magnitude of your actions, child, the voice responds, now clearer. Naruto drapes his coat over Nagato's body and faces the voice. So, who are you really? He asks. Madara Uchiha, the figure announces, but Naruto scoffs. That's a load of nonsense. I've seen Kurama's memories, and Madara's oppressive chakra is nothing like yours. So, who are you really? Naruto questions. I should have ended you when you were still a child, the masked figure hisses. But you didn't. My father found me and saved me. I owe you nothing but pain and torment. Thanks to you, I was forced to endure hell in Konoha, beatings, starvation, and so much more. But in a way, I also owe you gratitude. Your actions opened my eyes to the truth about Konoha and broke the chains they placed on me. I vowed to dismantle the shinobi system by taking the Baijiryo, and you're just another cog in that broken wheel, Naruto declares. Tobi, growing enraged, lunges forward, but a chakra rod suddenly pierces his leg. How? He thinks, but Naruto calmly speaks, I had my clone set up a barrier to negate your abilities. My father fought you, remember? We studied your techniques. Tobi falls to one knee, his chakra disrupted. This won't stop me, he mutters. Oh, it will. You Uchiha all think you're so superior, except for Itaki and her mother, Naruto comments, gripping Tobi's face and cracking his mask. Consider this repayment for what you did to my parents, Naruto says coldly, ripping Tobi's soul from his body, allowing him to collapse. Obito Uchiha, Kakashi's old teammate, Naruto says, inspecting the fallen man. I might still find a use for you, he muses, summoning several clones. Find Hiden's body and search for any notes that Nagato may have left, Naruto orders, setting Obito down as he pulls out 2 stasis scrolls. Mom, Dad, Kurama. I've avenged you. Now, the real work begins, Naruto thinks to himself. 2 clones appear, one carrying Hiden's body and the infamous same Hada sword. It survived the Bijudama. Naruto questions. It must have detached before Kisame was wiped out, one clone explains. Seal it into a scroll. We can use it for negotiations with Kiri, Naruto orders, placing Obito down and preparing the scrolls. What about Nagato? The second clone asks, pointing to the withered man. Dispose of him. Burn his body and scatter the ashes. We don't want Orochimaru bringing him back, Naruto responds, and the clones nod in acknowledgement. Naruto halts briefly, noticing a lack of anything important before continuing, nothing useful, but it's probably for the best. I'm heading back to the Earth warehouse. Catalog anything significant and send it through the smaller ones. Also, eliminate any evidence, Naruto orders as he vanishes. Earth Country. Naruto reappears inside another warehouse but is immediately struck by a large paperweight. Tsunade stands nearby, arms crossed, glaring at him. That's for keeping secrets, Naruto, she says. Hinata, also present, squats beside him as he regains his composure. Plausible deniability. If you were ever captured, you'd have known nothing, especially with the company I keep, Naruto replies. Tell me about it, Kurotsuka comments from the side. How many more secrets are there, Naruto-kun? Hinata asks. Naruto springs up to his feet and heads toward a nearby stack of crates. Just 2 more, considering you've met Kurotsuki and Itachi, he responds. Does Sasuke even know that Itachi is female, or that she's working for Konoha? Tsunade questions, arms folded, pinching the bridge of her nose. No, but she's a double agent, or rather, a triple agent working for me. Itachi always kept me safe when I was younger. When I visited the capital for business, we crossed paths. Thankfully, Fishboy wasn't there. At first, I was suspicious, but she used Tsukuyomi to explain things, and I told her everything. She agreed to help me in whatever way she could, while keeping both Akatsuki and Konoha off my back, Naruto explains. We met, fought, and got tangled up, Kurotsuka smirks, while both Naruto's companions glare at him. Itachi caught up to me after I met with the Yonbai and Gobi. Fighting someone young and capable of the particle style was an interesting experience. We got distracted, I'll say, Naruto says, glancing sideways. The irony isn't lost on us, either. I'm the granddaughter of Onaki, and he's the son of the Kiroi Senko. What a tragic love story that could have been, Kurotsuki adds. Naruto rubs his eyes beneath his glasses, causing both Tsunade and Hinata to gasp. That's the Rinnegan, but it's different, Tsunade says, her voice laced with astonishment. Yeah, I got it from Sasuke. It's his 6 paths yin power, Naruto says calmly. Speaking of Konoha, where's Itachi? Naruto asks. Resting with Konan. So, what happened? Hinata inquires. After we captured Jiraiya, Itachi used her Hiraishin Kunao. She was exposed while saving Konan. Things got messy, but I managed to finish off the Akatsuki, avenge my parents, and Kurama, Naruto explains, shocking everyone present. Was it Madara? Tsunade asks. No. It was Obito Uchiha, my father's former student, but he was trained by Madara. He used a technique called as Naga to cheat death, Naruto replies.